internet, and are you ready
Oh,
to stroke my American football?
hello!
Believe it or not, I actually missed I was actually missing your hello internet.
Yay! We're back for another edition of S.M.A.F, or Stroke My American Footballs, whatever you want to call it. It's our weekly football podcast.
We call it S.M.A.F.
S.M.A.F. Well, we talk about everything related to American football. We'll start off with some news. Then we'll go on to last week's games, which surprised some of us in how they went down. And then we'll go on to predicting this week's games. So I want to start off with this little news article here. Did anybody actually watch the Philadelphia Eagles-Washington Redskins game?
I sort of watched it mostly in the background.
Did you see the signs that the Philadelphia Eagles coach was using?
No, that I didn't.
Okay, if you've seen this was weird as fuck. They're doing the game, and every now and then you'll just go to the coach, Chip Kelly. Is it Chip Kelly? Yeah, Chip Kelly's the Philly coach, isn't he? Yeah, Chip Kelly. And
I don't see the picture now. What the hell is he?
He's got these signs of Philadelphia icons. These are signs that include the Philly Fanatic, Rocky Balboa, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Bart Simpson, and Elvis.
I have a question. Oh, okay. These are Philly? The Fresh Prince?
Some of them are Philly's heroes, and then some are just random characters.
Is Will Smith from Philly?
I don't know. It's just random characters. Some of them are Philly icons.
Bart Simpson is definitely not.
Yeah, Elvis. The point is, he's holding these signs of random people. Some of them are Philly icons, some of them aren't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And, yeah. From
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Yeah, West Philadelphia, born and raised. But
right.
Now, it says here in the news article, that to the naked eye, the signs are a random parade of nonsense, but not to Kelly's players. Instead of long, ponderous play calls from the booth, he holds these signs up, and apparently they know what those signs mean about formations, snap counts, motions, routes, everything they need to know to run a play. He holds up a sign of Rocky Balboa, and immediately his players know what the fuck that means?
He's throwing the beaker.
They apparently must have worked on it, if that's the case.
That might backfire.
I've never seen this before in any sport where, that had to reload, play calls and shit like that. I've never seen this.
Yeah, I mean, normally, the general way you call a game in a football game is you don't give signals. You give the marching orders over a headset. Isn't that what they do nowadays?
Yeah, they got a fucking.
And if that doesn't work, you can use code names.
Yeah, they got a headset so they can, the quarterbacks usually have a mic in their helmet so they can hear the coach's play calls. And if they don't do that, they do.
And a lot of times nowadays, because they've started doing this thing. Probably about 2 years ago, I think, is where the quarterback will have a thing on his wrist of all the different plays.
Yeah.
And the offensive coordinator or the coach or whoever will say play number. I'm assuming they do it probably by number. They probably say play 15 or something, and then they and then the quarterback looks, 15 is this.
But
I'm just guessing that's sort of how they do it. I'm not positive on that, but
it's just the weirdest. Couldn't you just do what every other fucking coach does? I mean, On a plus side, I mean, you're not going to have anybody spying out what that sign means. It's like, he's holding up the Rocky Balboa. That means it's a slant on the wide receiver. No, it's just like nobody's going to know what the fuck that means other than the players. So I get that. But it's still fucking weird.
Well, here's one problem I can see with it is like once you've done it the first time, and then players see what you're doing, then it's never going to work after that.
My question is how many
unless you're constantly changing what the sign, unless you're constantly changing what signs mean what every week.
Oh, my question is how many signs does this guy have? Because there's a huge amount of plays in a playbook. How many signs does this guy? How many would he have bought to do this? Because my idea is he's going to keep doing this as long as it's successful. He must have invested some money into quite a lot of fucking signs. He went to like get them all fucking photocopied, like put them all on these A3 sheets of card. He got them all printed out, and then in training, he must have hundreds of signs to do this shit.
You know what would be funny? If the signs actually mean nothing.
Yeah,
he's still using the headsets.
Maybe they mean jack shit, and while he's holding the sign up, he's talking into the mic to tell the quarterback what to do.
That could be what maybe he tied up. That maybe that's what he's doing. He's using the sign to hide his face so they can't read his lips. I mean, a lot of coaches are doing stuff. Well, they're like they'll hold up their like a play card or something, like they'll hold that in front of their face so you can't read their lips. And this is his method.
Yeah, but with this one, if he holds up a card and they do a play, the next time he holds it up, somebody's going to be expecting they'll do the exact same play. But when they don't, it's a bit more. It's a bit more insidious, but it's not exactly. It's still not that ingenious of a plan.
What other weird shit could we make signs out of?
That's my question. How he like one day he's just got like fucking like hold up a sign of the pedo bear, and suddenly like okay, and like oh okay, Ben Roethlisberger must be on the field.
We're sending him in.
Quick, Ben Roethlisberger's on the field.
Get that girl to the other end field.
Like, what the fuck? How did he come up with this shit? You gotta know that he had a meeting for this. Like, we gotta figure out a way to get into the opponent's heads, guys. We gotta figure out.
You know what's the weirdest thought going through my head? The coach is going to there was going to be like a scene in the back where the coach is lecturing them, holding up these signs, and it's kind of like the pizza French fry thing where he's just like, "You see the Balboa? Do you see it? This is Balboa.
This is Balboa.
You go back on the play. This is Rocky. Look at him. See it?"
I just like to think he's got this classroom.
Not the Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster means option pass.
He's got this classroom set up, right? And he's got all these players sitting at desks, and he's holding up these signs. Can anybody tell me what Rocky Balboa means? What the fuck, man? This guy is a coach. I don't know if he's a head coach, an offensive coordinator, what the fuck he is, but he's in charge of putting this team together, this offensive line at least. What the fuck, Philly? What the fuck? In other hilarious news, Tim Tebow, the man the gift that keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen.
He is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is the head coach.
Oh, Chip Kelly's the head coach. Okay, this guy's in fucking charge of the whole team. What the fuck? But no, Tim Tebow, boys and girls, the gift that keeps on giving. I thought we'd heard the last about this guy, because nobody wants him. Absolutely nobody. That is.
In fact, so much so that he's now gone to the AFL.
Well, not yet. He's gone to the AFL, the Arena Football League team. Without looking at the news article, guess which team wants to pick Tim Tebow up from the Arena Football League?
Let me make
The Browns?
Nope. Arena
The
Football.
Bills?
I'm gonna say the Raiders.
Nope. It's a team in LA, Arena Football League, and it's owned by a band. That band being Kiss.
I thought you said it was an actual. I thought you were saying an actual NFL team was.
Actually,
No.
there's not a single NFL team wanted Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
Right.
the LA Kiss, an Arena Football League team owned by the veteran rock band Kiss, has offered
Yeah, I heard about this.
has offered a 3-year contract to the out-of-work quarterback. As a former NFL player, the LA Kiss will offer intense training and unwavered commitment to the former New England Patriots player, with the hopes to take him to the next level, a team press release reads via the Los Angeles Times. The chance for Tebow to improve as a quarterback is immense, as the AFL is a pass-happy league, with 90% of the league's offense plays coming from throwing the ball. The release included statements from both Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, the Kiss figureheads, whom Tim Tebow likely has no idea exists. Acquiring Tebow would not only be a great investment for the team, but his exciting style of play would definitely send shockwaves through the league, said Gene Simmons. We're excited for the opportunity to see him with an LA Kiss uniform on, and for the LA Kiss fans to be rocking their Tebow shirts and jerseys.
Exciting style of play, really. Yeah, exciting in the sense that he throws the ball like a late, and it floats like a lame duck and goes completely in the wrong direction.
I thought Tebow was a promising upstart.
He won like one playoff game like 2 years ago, and everyone was praising him as football Jesus. But it was kind of the way everyone was praising Mark Sanchez and calling him the Sanchez.
Yeah, it was his fit in Denver that made him kind of made it was like they claim they're still idiots. Like for one, I don't get this at all. Skip Bayless of ESPN, ESPN's talk show that they have.
That's a fucking moron, Rockton.
Yeah, he kept praising Tim Tebow and kept saying Tim Tebow took this team to a playoff game
2 years ago. 2 years ago. Mark
Well,
Sanchez.
not just that. Bullshit, he took them anywhere. That Denver defense did. He didn't do. Tebow got fucking lucky with a few magical plays here and there, but every game he ever won, his stat line was atrociously bad. The Denver team was basically winning games purely on their defense and the luck of the fact that people couldn't score on that enough points on that defense to offset the one or two scoring plays that the Denver just happened to make.
It's just, this guy has gone from being the dude everyone talks about to the guy everyone wishes just went away. And the fact is, he's now being, scouted by people in fucking arena football. And not just any team in the arena football. No, it's a team owned by fucking Kiss. This is how low this man is.
Kiss is a terrible band.
Yes, they are. They're god awful.
This would be sad if it weren't so fucking funny. Yeah, I said that. It's actually the reverse of what you think you would hear. It's like, this would be funny if it weren't so sad. No, this would be sad if it weren't so funny.
You know something went wrong when fucking Arena Football wants to pick you up after having a stint in the NFL. Usually it's the opposite.
Usually it's the opposite. Yep. Well, the only way it could get worse for Tebow is if he goes into the Canadian Football League. Or, maybe Vince McMahon decides to bring back the XFL and hire...
That'd be really funny if he was scouted by, like, the European American Football League.
Yeah, he could go on one of the European teams. That's true. That could be shit for him. But, I think the only worst thing that could ever happen for Tebow is if Vince McMahon literally, tomorrow morning's like, I'm bringing back the XFL. We're going to hire Tebow.
He's our main man.
He's our main man. Fucking Tim.
And just like the one guy who did actually manage to get an NFL career after the XFL, the one guy who had "He Hate Me" on his jersey, I forget what his name is. Yeah, he'll go to XFL and have and go with a shirt saying "Football Jesus" on it.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, how I'm placing bets.
And by the way, I don't want to interrupt, but there's something that bugs me is there's this constant talk from Tebow fans people should be standing up for this guy. He's a Christian. He's a good person.
Religion's got shit all to do.
He's what the league needs. Blah 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 blah. It's like, so what if he is
He might love Jesus, but he's a terrible quarterback.
They think that by virtue of them being in the league, but because of what he stands for, that he is this savior for the moral bankruptness that is the NFL.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
I don't. Honestly, if someone used my faith to compliment me instead of my football skills, and I'm on a fucking football team, I'd be pissed at them. Just be like, dude, what the fuck's your problem, man?
Well, he didn't really help that image, Ali. I mean, I get it. The dude's got faith. I got no problem with people that's got faith. I want to let that now. You got faith. That's cool. I'm fine with that. I'm not shooting you down for having faith, but I'm just saying he didn't help the perception that he got. He's like
the bad stereotype of Christians.
Yeah, he'd do the Tebowing, and he'd literally pray before every game, and thank God after every touchdown. He wasn't helping the image that people got.
Don't thank God, thank your team.
Yeah, he was thanking God for the touchdowns, and it's dude, I get it.
That's one of the things another thing that bugs me is about the people that that thank God for things that they shouldn't be. If you want to thank God if you want to thank God and you're a faith-driven guy on a football team and you want to thank God for something, thank God for giving you the talent to play. Thank God for him allowing you to be able to do what you do every day.
Sure,
don't thank God for your team winning. That was you. That was you and your team. That was not God. God does not decide the outcome of a football game. Okay, buddy?
It's your team's skill and tactics that make you win.
Regardless of whether or not
team. Yeah.
Sorry. Regardless of whether or not and given the fact that given if God does exist, I sincerely doubt that he would have
I don't think
any interest in the outcome of a football game. He would have a lot more important stuff.
He'd have a lot more important stuff to do, and plus,
see the shit going on in Syria. Who gives a shit about your football?
If God did exist, I don't think he'd be happy with the NFL and their contingency of players right now and some of the things they've done.
Of course,
I don't
half
think he
the people in football are assholes, but still.
It's because they come straight out of college, have not learned a damn thing about life, and it's just like, hey, here's $20 million.
Yeah, most of the people aren't like academic in college. They're just like, I'm on the football team.
It's just like they learn nothing about life because they're playing football in high school. They go on to play football in college. They learn nothing about life, and then NFL is just like, here's a $20 million contract. Have fun.
By the way, I think they pay their football players way too fucking much.
Oh yeah, ridiculous amounts of money. Ridiculous amounts of money. I'll give Tim Tebow this though. He at least did practice because the New England Patriots have decided they're not going to practice for the Jets this week.
What?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's an article. It's because it's referencing a tweet that Albert Breer made. Just got to Gillette Stadium. Patriots announced they'll only have a walkthrough today. That means no practice for the team on this short week.
That is what?
Apparently, it's timed. It's tied to the timing of Thursday's AFC because it's on Thursday. They have very little time to practice. And apparently New York is taking a similar approach. But Rex Ryan, he's not planning a walkthrough. He's planning a short practice and a walkthrough. So he's going to be doing more than what the New England Patriots are doing.
At least they're practicing, you know.
Okay. I could see that maybe I could see if you really don't have the time to do any practicing at all. I could sort of see why they would do that, but why would you not practice in any fashion? That just doesn't make sense. I mean,
at least especially a little. Fuck.
Yeah, Rex Ryan's like, yeah, we ain't got a lot of time, but we're going to have a short practice and a walkthrough because it's the fucking Patriots.
They're facing the Patriots. Of course they're going to fucking try to practice and, you know.
Yeah, it's not going to be a long practice, but he's going to fucking organize a practice and a walkthrough because it's the fucking Patriots. Patriots are just like, oh, we ain't got enough time. We'll just have
I don't give a fuck.
This is why you guys almost... Patriots, do you not remember how close the Bills came to whooping your ass?
So apparently the fucking Patriots...
And regardless of how disorganized the Jets are, Rex Ryan can coach a fucking defense.
He can coach a defense. He can't coach an offense to save his life, but he can coach a defense.
What's your advice on offense?
And given the losses... Sorry, go ahead, Ollie.
I was just making a joke about, like, okay, coach, so what's the plan on offense? Throw the ball.
Throw the ball?
I don't know.
He was all over the place last year with the Jets offense.
But
he's a defensive.
What I was gonna say is that, like, damn it, this is why I interrupt, because I lose my thought if I don't.
No, why are you thinking about it? I think the Patriots. It's Bill Belichick. It's fucking Bill Belichick and the fucking New England Patriots. They should be doing better than this. But, Bill, have you just decided not to give a shit this year?
Oh, what I was gonna say was even given some of the losses that Jets have had in the defense, they look pretty damn. They looked all right. They looked all right against the Bucks.
Yeah, they
held them to 16. Held them to under 20 points, which is about as good as you could probably ask for.
Well, you're the Jets.
You're the Jet. I get time constraints means you don't have much time to practice, but when Rex Ryan can find time, you need to
throw the ball back and forth to warm up a little, you know?
Yeah, fucking... You're paying these guys millions of dollars. Have them fucking work for it. Ah!
You know, if I paid that much, I'd make my team train every fucking day.
Every day. Every day.
Why am I hearing random cheering?
Oh god, oh god, oh god, just a random NFL pop-up video came up. Talk amongst yourselves, the phone's ringing.
But yeah, why I get that you probably you have a game coming up really soon. It's Sunday to Thursday. It's not a whole lot of time.
Jets, and it's not going to be.
But you have to have. I just don't see how you don't have some time to practice to some degree. I just don't see that. I really, the only way I can see this is like, okay, let me think about this.
Even if it was
are Patriots going on the road here?
Let me check.
I was going to say, at least they can squeeze an hour in. Fuck.
I'm not sure. Let me just quickly check. Patriots. I think it's the Jets that are going on the road, but I could be wrong. Let me see. Where is it? Week 2. Week 2. Here we go. Week 2. Week 2. It's the Jets going to the Patriots.
Okay. So they're not on the road.
Yeah, they're at home.
But they are coming from Buffalo. Trying to think how far away is New England from New York?
Well, New York's in New England, dude. What state does the Patriots Stadium in?
It's Gillette Stadium.
But what city?
No, he asked what state.
Oh, state. Where's Gillette Stadium? I can't fucking remember.
It is New York.
Where is it?
Wow.
So they barely. So they
just don't fucking feel like it. Just.
Yeah, I don't see any other reason behind that. They just left Buffalo, and now they're going home. Probably maybe 100 miles away. I'm not sure.
It'd be like a 5-hour drive.
Less than 100 miles away.
At the widest point, New York's about 250 miles across. So.
Yeah, I would probably say maybe 50 miles tops away from where they just left. Yeah, that sounds. I just don't know how to interpret that as anything other than laziness.
Yep.
How do you not see it as anything but?
I don't know, because we're the fucking Patriots. Who needs to practice? Look at Tim Tebow, Bill Belichick. Woo!
Didn't they drop Tim Tebow?
Tim Tebow? Excuse me, Tom Brady. Whoopsie daisy.
Are they that confident against the Jets that they can beat them? I'm not saying they should be confident. It's the fucking Jets.
Still fucking practice.
There's such a thing as overconfidence. I mean, Patriots versus New York Giants should always be a warning to New England as what happens when you get over-fucking confident. They had papers printed ready for when they won that game and became undefeated, and then the New York Giants stomped all over them and defeated them.
I don't think they completely stomped over. They didn't completely stomp over them, but they did end up losing.
Yeah, they ended up losing. The point is, they should know what happens when they underestimate a team. They should know what happens when they get cocky as shit. It's happened before, and it will happen again if they do not remember what is going to happen. Fucking Bill Belichick. What the
No, that was not a case of the Giants stomping over Patriots. It was actually a very close game. The final score was 17-14.
Still, they didn't bring their A game, so they got fucked.
Yeah, fuck. It's gonna be the same case if they don't do the same with the Jets. It's the fucking Jets, but you underestimate a team and you fucking dilly-dally about and you don't practice and go, we're the fucking Patriots. Why do we need to do that? You're gonna fucking lose. You're gonna fucking lose.
This is rookie shit.
You know what you need to do if you're the Patriots. motherfucking Patriots, who are known for the past, 5 years now, maybe more. At least, the past 5 years of being a team that never stops, that never lets off the gas for a second.
They're a fucking top tier team.
That's what you're known for. You're known for basically you basically take advantage of the fact that there's not a no mercy rule in football, and you keep scoring on them until there's no way in it.
They're the Zerg Rush team.
Basically, they're the Zerg Rush. The point, by the end of the game, the score is so lopsided, the team has no chance of coming back. They don't let off the gas till maybe 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something. It's ridiculous with them.
Okay, so they scored 40 points. Have fun.
That's the attitude. I honestly applaud that attitude. That's what you should do. Is if you're coming in against a team that isn't very good, or at least you think isn't very good, and you're the motherfucking New England Patriots, who are just a beast, who have been this beast. You should come in and just that's what you do, and it's a good stance for any team to take. Is if you can pull it off, is to basically just step on their throat, step on the gas, never let up, because it demoralizes the other team if you continuously score.
Yeah, but
then the other team is like, well, what do we do? Oh God, we can't possibly come back now.
Crush their spirits, and they just give up, and they have no chance to win, so they don't try.
Yeah. The Patriots are confusing me a lot right now. Yeah, you know what else confused me? You know what else?
Shoe in my head?
No. Well, that.
What else confused you?
That and what the fuck happened to the Baltimore Ravens?
I don't know. I thought they had something going for them, but they just shit the bed.
Because we're gonna go into.
Like I kind of said, that defense got stripped of the majority of of their players. Plus injuries didn't help them either. Yeah, it just.
My God,
they had no defense to speak of at all this game.
The Baltimore Ravens.
So is this where we're going to start? Are we starting to get into our Week 1 games right now?
We're starting to get into our Week 1 games right now. To give you an update on the pick'em before we do so, I will tell you the leaderboard for our group. Our group is S.M.A.F. After the show, and it is being led by none other than Rocktan. You had the most points. You have 160 points. You got the most. I come in a tying second with Mick at 100. Excuse me. Then there's Ali, and then there's Nathan.
It's predictable that Nathan be that low.
Nathan is last at 80 points.
Technically, I'm at the last, but only because I wasn't here for the Week 1.
Oh, well, there's the...
Basically, my opening week record is 12-4.
There's the group. Yeah. Your opening week record was 12-4. Mine was something like...
I think mine's either 8-8 or 9-8.
I think mine was 10 and something. I don't know. But yes, that's who's leading right now, Rocktan, and I will do everything it takes to catch up and overtake him.
Probably gonna lose.
I will not lose because I do not want to support the New York Jets. I'll do anything it takes to not be last. Okay, we'll go on to.
You, the guy when we started this show, said you don't really know a damn thing about American football. At least you're better than Nathan, but you didn't say that when we started this little show.
I was going to say, I only know football from like 2005, back when I watched football. And like
Yeah.
they're completely different now. So
I started really watching football. I think the year that I really started getting into football was the year that the Vikings had the 15-1 run, which was 98 or 99, I think.
But yes, anyway, we can talk about football history later. We go into the Baltimore Ravens traveled to the Denver Broncos, and they got whooped. Denver Broncos 49, Baltimore Ravens 27.
Ah!
that's depressing.
Go away.
Baltimore Ravens 27. Peyton Manning did amazing this game. He tied a record that has not been tied since 1969, and that is a record for seven touchdown passes in a single game.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, he got all the touchdowns in that game.
Apparently, Peyton Manning having a good fucking day.
Yeah, he had 27 for 42 completion rate, 462 yards for 7 touchdowns. Joey Flacco, 34 for 62 completion rate, 362 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs.
That's depressing.
That's depressing. It wasn't good. The full story here. What is there to tell you? It's Ravens didn't really have much of a chance. Baltimore started off the first quarter very well. They had 7 points to nothing. And the second quarter, Denver came back with 14. Baltimore got 10, so they were still in the lead, I think. 17 points. Then Denver came back in the third quarter, strong as hell, 21. They got 3 touchdowns in that quarter. Baltimore got nothing. And then Denver in the last quarter got 14. Baltimore got 10. And Baltimore lost to Denver.
The story, the big story of this game was like it started out like basically back and forth. I mean, Baltimore got the first score, and then when Denver answered with a touchdown, and it kind of went back and forth until the first quarter ended with Baltimore only being able to score a field goal. First series of one of the first series of Denver's offense in the second quarter was the big game changer. What happened is Manning throws a pass to his new buddy Wes Welker, who had a really good game, by the way.
Apparently,
he throws a pass to Wes Welker. Wes Welker goes down, and the ball hit. Like I think the ball hit the ground. He didn't cradle in his hands properly. Basically, he didn't complete the catch. It should have been ruled a non-catch, but the refs didn't catch it. Which, I mean, that happens. Here's the problem: Jim Harbaugh and his guys and like his team of guys didn't tell Harbaugh to challenge the play, which he should have. So he never did, and Denver kind of sensed that. Well, they might have noticed something like they might have said, "Oh, we might have gotten away with on there. Let's immediately go out and get the play off quick," which is what they did. So basically, Harbaugh never had a chance to challenge, which he should have, which he would have won that challenge. And a few plays later, Denver scores a touchdown, and then the very next, then Baltimore. Basically what happens next is, I think, I'm trying to remember it, but basically what happens is one of the next series, Denver blocks a punt by Baltimore and setting up with a ridiculously good field advantage, which they take advantage of and score again. That that few series, those like 3 or 4 series of plays, completely just was what got Denver really going, and just like that's where they really started to pull away. Was that little series of was those few particular series in the third quarter? Because once those series happened, is like that's when Denver just stepped on the gas and never let up after it. That's when they really stepped on.
Yeah. Just looking at the stats.
And
just looking at the stats here in the box, it really was basically all Peyton Manning in this game for the Broncos.
They have a shit ton of passing yards, right?
They had a shit ton of passing yards. Yeah, it was 462.
Damn.
7 touchdowns. It was the first time that record has been tied since 1969. Good job, Peyton Manning. You proved to me that even though you're old as fuck, you still get the job.
Good fucking quarterback.
You're a really good fucking quarterback. Good job. I'm glad that Rucktan managed to talk me into picking the Broncos. That got me a win on the pick'em. Thank you. I would have picked the Ravens, and I would have walked away a fool if I did. So thank you.
Yeah, that defense was doing jack all.
It didn't do jack shit in that game at all. At all. Then we go to a game that surprised me, a game that was closer than it should have been. The New England Patriots traveled to the Buffalo Bills. They won, but it was 23-21. It was not
by 2 points.
It was by 2 points. It was not
the
stomp
Bills.
against the Bills.
By the way, I wanted to mention how given how close the games were this week, I actually just in preparation for the show, I decided, man, these games were close. A lot of these games were close. I was actually curious to find out how many games this week were within a margin of 6 points or less. You know how many there was? 11.
It's ridiculous.
That's insane. I'm surprised. And I've been watching and I watch ESPN and stuff like that, and like Fox Sports. You know, like when they go through, like, because I've been watching, because I watched some of the other games and stuff, and, you know, post show, pre show, whatever, like in the background while I was doing other stuff, mostly playing Just Cause.
A lot.
Yeah, no one ever mentioned the fact that mentioned anything about how many. No one was ever seen to be surprised about how many close games there were and how close the point margins were. Because, like, looking at that, 11 games, that's got to be some sort of record.
It's a lot. I know that, and not a lot. Tom Brady in this game did not have a good day, guys. His completion for attempts, he had 29 completions for 52 passing attempts. He only managed to get 288 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT.
Yeah, not the best day for Brady.
Not the best day. He also fumbled it once. No, not good. Buffalo Bills. Their passing wasn't as good either, actually. 18 for 27 from E.J. Manuel. 150 yards passing.
Well, the ratio of completion for attempts is a little better.
Yeah, 150 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Just looking at how many.
You almost got out mediocred by the Bills.
They almost got out mediocred by the Bills. Yeah.
That just shows that you need to stop being so fucking lazy.
In fact, E.J. Manuel himself also ran the ball. He ran the ball 3 times, and he managed to pick up 23 yards. So basically, just over 7 yards per carry when he ran the ball. Just looking at any of the stats that really kind of jump out at me. It was kind of a mediocre day for both of these teams when I'm looking at this box analysis.
Well, to be
here.
honest, when it's the Bills, that's a good day.
It's a good day for the Bills. It was a good day for the Bills, and it was a bad day for the Patriots. They struggled for this one. They got the winning touchdown in the last quarter. Bills were actually leading after the third quarter. First quarter, New England got 10 points. Buffalo got nothing. Then in the second quarter, Buffalo got 14, New England got 7, so New England was still in the lead. Then in the third quarter, they couldn't get anything done, New England. Buffalo took the lead with a touchdown, and then New England managed to get 6 points in the fourth quarter. This was a bad day for Patriots, a good day for the Bills, even though they lost. Bills, you need to practice. This is why you need to practice for the Jets. If you struggled like this against the Bills, you need to practice.
At least the Bills were practicing.
You need to practice for the Jets. You need to get your stick out of that ass. You need to get the stick out of your ass, and need to start getting shit done. Because that was terrible. For the team that you are, that was absolutely terrible. You have no excuse for that. You don't. Another team that has no excuse for their poor performance, although I'm laughing my way to the bank in this, is the Tennessee Titans traveled to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Did you pick the Titans?
I believe I did. Let me look at my picks.
I remember being the one who actually. I think I was convinced. I was like, my uncle's from Tennessee. Fuck it, I'm picking the Titans.
Oh damn it! I picked the Steelers. But you know what? Even though I picked the Steelers, I'm happy.
I'm the one who knew, and that was my crazy pick of the week, and it actually played.
It paid off. It was a terrible game, but it was a low-scoring game, and neither team could get shit done. It was 16-9 this game, and it wasn't good, boys and girls. It really wasn't.
This was the probably the stunning thing is the Titans had absolutely their defense sacked the shit out of Ben Roethlisberger 5 times.
Yeah, 5 sacks.
How do you let the Titans sack you 5 times?
It brought great joy to me to see Big Ben go down 5 times. Every time I was just like, please let this be the one that injures him. Oh, I hate that man with a fiery, burning passion. He can go and rot in hell. Speaking of Big Ben, terrible game. The completion for attempts, not that bad. 21 for 33. The yards, he did 21 completed passes. He only got 191 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 INT.
So he did read badly, apparently.
He was shit. Jake Locker did worse. 11 for 20, 125 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Ugh.
And it's actually, this was an even bigger loss for the Steelers than just the humiliating loss that they suffered here. They actually lost a good number of players to injury during this game, including their Pro Bowl center, Marquise Pouncey.
Yeah, they lost a lot of players to injury in this game. Maybe that's why they became so... they picked up a safety in the first quarter. 2 points in the first quarter. That's all that happened in the first 15 fucking minutes.
Big day.
a safety in the first 15 fucking minutes.
Excitement.
I know. Holy shit, this is fucking primetime football right here, boys and girls. Holy shit, look at Big
There's
Ben
a
go.
reason why some football games aren't the ones they show on free TV.
Yeah. And then second quarter, Tennessee picks up a touchdown. Third quarter, Tennessee picks up a field goal. Fourth quarter, Tennessee picks up a touchdown, and Big Ben throws his one and only touchdown in the game.
By the way, that particular injury for Maurice Ponsky, it was a bad one to watch because it looked like he ran into his own guy and the other and the other guy kind of rolled on top of him.
I feel sorry for whoever had to watch this game. The only reason I watched it was for the hope, the complete hope that Big Ben Roethlisberger would be defeated by the Titans, and he was sacked 5 times, and they were glorious.
The only good moment the Steelers had is this absolutely stunning sack that I've never seen ever. It was just wow. I think it was Troy Polamalu. He timed the snap count perfectly. I mean, and the minute the snap, he ran across the. He does his running time completely right, basically, and the minute the ball was snapped, he just shot through the Titans' offensive line and got the sack. That was holy shit.
Also, apparently, he has bitchin' hair.
Yeah, this game I feel sorry for whoever had to watch it.
He's always doing the I think it's Head and Shoulders commercial. Yeah, the Head and Shoulders commercial.
But after seeing that game, it changed my mind about the Steelers and some picks that I was going to make for them in the future. Because if you can't get this shit done against the Titans, you ain't going to be doing well this season, Steelers. Maybe it's time that the Big Ben era comes to an end. I really hope it does this year. And maybe you can actually finally put him in jail. How about that?
I actually had my picks for week 2 set up. And the minute you said that the Titans lost against the Titans won against the Steelers, that's what just went the other way around.
Yeah, Titans won against the Steelers in, I suppose you could call it an upset, but the Titans were shit. It was really just who was the shittiest team out there on the field, and it was the Steelers, apparently.
I think when we get to it, I think we're going to have the exact same type of match again this week.
I really do.
I would honestly call it an upset just because you didn't expect, you really just, how do you expect the Steelers to suck that bad?
How was that possible?
We then go on to, a close game. It was a close game. The Atlanta Falcons take on the New Orleans Saints, and unfortunately they lose. New Orleans Saints 23, Atlanta Falcons 17. Stats for this game. Matt Ryan had 25 for 38, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Drew Brees, 26 for 35, 357 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Rushing.
Wow, Drew Brees is back to form, man. It's like he's never... But has he ever really lost it? I mean, that guy is so fucking good.
You could say he kind of lost it a bit at the end in last season.
Yeah, he lost it a bit at the end of last season.
And I'm worried that might be the thing. He's getting a bit too long in the tooth just to keep doing this.
Too far in the beginning and he just kind of falls off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Rushing, who's this? S. Jackson. I don't know many people on the Atlanta. Oh, Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, 11 attempts for 77 yards. Pierre Thomas, 9 attempts for 43 yards. Receiving, Darryl Sproul, 6 receptions for 88 yards. Colston, 5 for 68. Stills, 2 for 86. Jimmy Graham, 4 for 45. on the Falcon. It was a shootout, really, between these two. Douglas
Which is
on
what I predicted it would be.
It basically was. Douglas, 4 receptions for 93 on the Falcons. Jones,
It was
7
just a scoring contest.
Steven Jackson, 5 for 45. Gonzalez, 3 for 36. White, 2 for 19. Yeah, it was a shootout, and basically, what I think Falcons are good, but they're not that good to win a shootout against Drew Brees.
Really, the Falcons would have been one of my main picks for this season, but I'm not seeing him shine this season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought their defense was better than this, but apparently, maybe it's just like it could be an aberration. It could be just the fact that Drew Brees is just that fucking good.
Yeah, it's probably because they were in a shootout against Drew Brees. Let's not forget that. It was a shootout, and it was against a guy who's really fucking good when it comes to the shootout.
Are we missing some matches?
There's no doubt Atlanta's going to be good in the season. I just think it's a rocky start for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my idea. Speaking of, what you call it, a rocky start? It's a weird start, that's for sure. The New York Jets and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay.
This was absolutely the most heartbreaking loss of all the picks that I made.
The Tampa Bay.
What the fuck was this?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveled to the New York Jets. We all picked the Buccaneers to win this, and the Jets won by 1 point.
And you know why they won by 1 point? Because a Bucs player, they wouldn't. They honestly had no business winning this game if it weren't for the idiotic play of one of the Buccaneers players.
Which one?
Levante David.
Levante. That's an amazing name.
He basically, what happened was, Geno Smith was forced to run. And he would have been short of the first down. He had to run out of bounds. Levante David hits him out of bounds for the personal foul, which keeps the drive alive. And then a play or two later, their kicker kicks a 48-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to win.
So he literally cost them the game.
The Jets had no business winning this game, okay? And I have to laugh at Jets fans. I really
not great, but I thought they could fucking win against the Jets.
Yeah, the Bucs could have won against it. It was just it was a fluke, this game for the Jets, and I have to laugh at Jets fans because I saw comments from so many fans that somehow meant because they got a 1 point victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're like, Jets, the Jets are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, Jets fans. I'm gonna talk to the Jets fans directly here. Jets fans, if your one win that you're claiming and touting as the proof that you're going to the Super Bowl is a fluke against the Buccaneers, no less, you really need some new standards, guys.
The Jets have some real fucking homers. By the way, that's my one thing. How creative a chant is that, really? How uncreative, I should say. Spelling out the team name.
That'd be really hard for some of the longer team names.
That's that chant.
I say it's uncreative, but I mean a lot of football teams do it. So I don't hold that against them, honestly. I mean, you do it in. It happens in fucking high school. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, like, it happens in college. It's all over the place. I'm not gonna hold that against them.
I mean, I shouldn't give so much shit to Jets fans. I mean, they have to put up with so many losses in the season. They have to put up with Rex Ryan being a fucking moron. You have to put up.
They're Jets fans. I mean, they already have their hands full.
They have their hands full, so I guess when you get a win, you want to tout it out as if you're going on to the Super Bowl.
They like
you
to
want to have some hope. You want to have some fucking hope, but I'm sorry, you're not going to.
Yeah, and I mean, Jets fans have to be giddy as fuck in a way that Mark Sanchez is out with a shoulder injury.
Geno Smith was,
but they're actually I bet I wouldn't be surprised if they're Jet fans that say Geno Smith is our answer. Yes.
Geno Smith, he's our next franchise quarterback. The dude is terrible.
I mean, he was all right this game.
No, hold on.
I'm not gonna say. I don't think. I do think this was kind of an aberration, probably, but he did all right this game.
He's okay at running. The guy would be much better as a fucking running back than he would be as a quarterback.
Because the quarterback's job is getting the ball to someone else that isn't him.
Okay, he's good as a running guy. Yeah,
it makes me think that he took the position because he wasn't good enough as a running back.
Josh Freeman did not have a good day at all. 15 for 31, 210 yards, and 1 touchdown.
1 INT. Did he get sacked at all? Let me see. Sacks. Yes, he got sacked twice. He got sacked twice, 1 INT, 1 touchdown. Jets still had no business winning this game. It all came down to a fucking field goal in the end, and
the Jets defense is what honestly kept them in. If anything, was the one that kept them in this game more than anything.
It's the only thing that's going to keep them in any game. Rockton, their offense is terrible. Rex Ryan does not know how to make an offense. He's good at defense. He'd make a great defensive coordinator. Can't do shit on offense. And
isn't that though what they? I read. I know I read this somewhere that supposedly that even though he's supposedly the head coach, that's all they're letting him do. Essentially, that they kind of downgraded him to just the defensive coordinator.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. So
maybe things might be looking up for the Jets in that sense. Possibly. I really don't think so. I really don't think so.
My biggest hopes right now, I mean, at first I was kind of like looking forward to seeing Geno Smith play because of the the preseason. Because they were winning, they pretty much won the entire preseason. So I thought maybe this guy has something behind him, but
nope,
he's not special.
Nope,
there's nothing special about him.
There's nothing special about him.
The preseason doesn't mean jack shit. Think just a few years ago, the Lions won all their preseason game, and that was the year that they went 0-16, winless.
That was a shitty year for the Cat team.
That was a shitty year for the Lions. Well, yeah, Jets, be happy with this win while you can. I can't imagine you getting many more in this season.
But look on the bright side, Jets fans. Next season, we might actually think you're a second tier, a step above, the rest of the Cat teams.
Yeah, you might be a step above the Cat teams, and that's saying something at least. But
yeah,
I still predict them to only have in one win this entire season.
So they lose the rest of their games from now on, Rockton?
Yes.
They won week 1, then they kind of stopped playing.
They just
Well, I'm not looking. I don't think the Jets fans are looking forward to the next game.
Yeah, I'm betting you now the Jets fans, like, they save bottles of champagne years on end for when the Jets win a game, and then they finally, like, pop the cork on, like, the stupidest games that don't matter. It's like, hey, the Jets won against the Bucks in week 1. Let's fucking get drunk and celebrate. Woo! You do know we're
You're
still.
going. You should be saving. You should be saving yourself because you're gonna need. You're gonna need to get so complete. You're gonna want to just drink yourself to death after this season.
You're gonna want to drink the pain away next week.
Speaking of somebody that might want to drink the pain away, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to Jacksonville and stomped on their asses.
They skinned those Jaguars alive.
28 to Kansas City Chiefs, 2 to the Jaguars.
There's actually a hilarious picture that's actually hilarious short video clip of a Jacksonville fan. They had apparently a shot of a Jacksonville fan, just like his jaw hanging, his arms like outstretched, going, why? Like it's like sort of like this utterly confused, just completely just like what's going on here kind of look, and they made the comment, and I would have made the same comment. What did you expect? Really? Why are you even? I honestly, I just don't know how people in Jacksonville can even be completely 100% fans of this team. How did this team even have fans?
This team got a safety in the first quarter, and that was it. They had jack shit the rest of the game. Blaine Gabbert, 16 completed passes for 35 attempts, 121 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They brought in Chad fucking Henne because Gabbert couldn't get the fucking job done.
And Maurice Jones-Drew, the guy that they've sunk most of their money into, had a total of 45 yards on only 15 carries. 15. An average of 3 yards per carry.
3 yards per carry. Fucking Blaine Gabbert himself did better than Maurice Jones-Drew. He did 4 yards, 16. That's 4 yards per carry. He did better at yards per carry than their franchise running back. This team.
And another thing is, if you look at the stats here, Alex Smith didn't do a whole lot better.
KC.
He just happened to get 2 touchdowns. I mean, his completion to attempt rate was better, but he only got 173 yards.
This game was boring as fuck to watch. I only saw a little bit of this game, and I switched over immediately because I saw the score. It was the second quarter. It was 21-2, and I thought, nope, not watching this. And then nothing scored. Yeah, first quarter it was 14-2. Jacksonville gets nothing done the rest of the game. So, second quarter, KC scores a touchdown. Third quarter, nothing happens. Fourth quarter, KC scores a touchdown. This was the most boring blowout that anyone must have had to see. I feel sorry for the people that saw this. KC, although they trashed this team, they're still not a good team. Jaguars, when the fuck are you gonna win a game? If this is, oh my god, this is the opening to your season? Are you going to win a game this season? What the fuck, Jacksonville? You need to be better. Holy this was just a...
I just don't. That organization. I think that organization in some ways looks worse than the Jets because they just don't know. They
don't know they're playing football.
They don't know what they're doing.
It's
At least Rex Ryan can coach a defense.
It's astounding just how bad, how terrible the cat teams, some of the cat teams were.
And people are already predicting that, and NFL's been wanting to do a London team for several years now. That the Jaguars are going to be the team that gets shipped off to London and probably changed to a different name, I imagine.
Well, it's just they've been talking about that for years.
And I'm just going. Honestly, this is the thing that honestly.
I just realized they scored 2 points.
This is the thing that honestly confuses me. Okay, you get rid of a shitty team in a city it's not exactly the greatest thing as you might think. You think it's a shitty team. They weren't doing anything. They weren't representing our city, our state very well. We don't want them here. People really don't understand, and I actually really didn't understand until later on. Like, the amount of jobs that are lost when the amount of jobs that football creates, and the amount of jobs that football that gets lost when a team leaves or comes to a place is a big deal. I mean, you really think about it, it's not really a good thing for
doesn't each football team have like roughly 60, 70 workers in it? And that's just the players.
Well, let's not just think about the players. Let's think about the people that have to work the stadium, the concession vendors.
Think about the hot dog guy,
the janitors, the people that the guys that have to go out there and clean the field or set up the field and all that sort of stuff. All the lower tier people that nobody thinks about.
Well, and plus people think, oh, it's a bad team moved away. It's still a bad team when they move somewhere else. For some reason, people expect... For some reason, people expect when a team moves, they somehow get better. No, it's the same people on the same team, just with a different name, logo, uniform, and location. It's a money pit.
That rarely happens. They
couldn't at least score a field goal? I mean, come on.
No, safety. That was it.
Wow.
I mean, in fact, and think about this. It's actually the only team in recent memory that's turned from a bad team into a good team was the Browns turning into the Ravens.
Yeah.
And there's actually been a case of where a team started as a fairly good team and then actually became a pretty shitty team, or at least maybe the first couple seasons looked okay, but has since just fallen into one of the lower team. They're not one of the worst teams out there, but are pretty bad, and that being the Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
So it actually happened in reverse for them.
I'm impressed. Just by
I think I remember the Houston Oilers being a good team, and then
they were a good team until their end days when they had that.
Right. They were a good team until their last few days, until the last few years, but then they go to Tennessee, and they're not really doing much better. So
Not that much better, no.
what's a good what was a good team at one point now is the exact reverse has happened for them.
Yeah, it's not the case of when a team moves, things get better. It's a team moves, things usually stay the same.
It's one of those things where I just question it's like, okay, you want a team to move to London, and I question, and I sit there and question, does London really want the fucking Jaguars?
No! London's like, can't you give us the Patriots. Give us the Giants. Give us the fucking Cowboys. Don't give us the Jaguars.
You think they might take the Colts?
Even if they don't pronounce it right, then no.
Give us the Jaguars, you know, and they're like,
Colts
and then the Americans will be like, the Jaguars? Don't you mean the Jaguars? No, no.
The Colts have already moved. The Colts have already moved because they used to be the Baltimore Colts.
They used to be the Baltimore Colts, and now they're the Indian. And so many Colts fans are angry about that. Yeah. From one terrible cat team to another, and another extremely boring game. Seahawks versus Panthers.
I kind of expected not much.
Neither team should have showed up.
Really, it's the Seahawks and the Panthers.
Seahawks are okay, but they're too plagued by injuries, and Panthers are Panthers.
Neither team should have showed up, guys. Seattle Seahawks 12, Carolina Panthers 7.
What the hell? And
wait a second.
Russell
had a 3-hour fucking game.
Good stat on his passing yards, yet was only able to get one touchdown.
Russell Wilson had an amazing. Yeah, Russell Wilson had amazing passing yards with 320.
Can I ask something of you? Read the stats for this game.
Yes, I will read the stats for this game.
I want to see how pitiful this is.
I'll first of all read you the box score. First quarter, nothing happened. Second quarter, Seahawks 3, Carolina Panthers 7, the only score they would get throughout the whole game. Third quarter, Seahawks 3, Carolina Panthers nothing. Fourth quarter, Seahawks 6, Carolina Panthers nothing. There were 2 touchdowns to be had in the whole fucking game.
Oh.
One by the Carolina Panthers. One by the Carolina Panthers.
I didn't have to. Am I happy? I didn't have to watch this.
1 touchdown by the Carolina Panthers. 1 touchdown by the Seattle Seahawks, and the rest of the score was field goals. Okay, 2 touchdowns for the entire.
So this sounds like this was the absolute ugliest game of the entire week.
And you wouldn't think it with Russell Wilson's game. He had 25 completions for 33 attempts, 320 passing yards, but only 1 touchdown. The 1 touchdown that the Carolina Panthers the Seahawks managed to get. Marshawn Lynch.
Do you remember the thing I told you where really bad things kind of amuse me?
Yeah. Marshawn Lynch, their franchise running back, beast mode, apparently has been tranquilized. 17 carries for 43 yards. That's an average of 2.5 yards per carry.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Good Lord.
Fucking pacified.
Fucking.
And I have this guy in my fantasy team. I'm getting rid of him. This guy.
Cam Newton.
You should probably keep him because it's not him that's the fault of the game apparently, because he seems to be doing well. You should probably keep him.
Cam Newton.
So you think it's the offensive line?
I think the rest of his team sucks. That's
yeah, exactly.
It's the case of a really good guy being in a shitty team. You forget, Rugten, the halfbacks take a lot of punishment. They get their shit beat out of them. They rely on
That's the weird thing is that, like, I saw that. I honestly don't think the Seahawks looked like the one of the I think it was the defense and having
it's
Russell Wilson. It looked like one of those. It looked like it could be one of the elite teams this year. If this is their performance in week 1, they are going to need to vastly improve in order to prove me right.
We go on to the Carolina Panthers side. Cam Newton, 16 completions for 23 attempts, 125 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, they shut down Cam Newton.
The only touchdown that the Carolina Panthers had was from Cam Newton.
So basically, the Seahawks defense pretty much had to win this game for them.
Yep. Rushing. Cam Newton.
This just makes me look that either team has no fucking offense.
Rushing. D'Angelo Williams, 16 carries for 76 yards, an average of 4.8.
So he did a little better than Marshawn Lynch, but not by much.
Cam Newton himself actually took to the running game. He had 5 carries for 38 yards, an average of 7.6.
That's actually pretty okay.
Greg Olsen on receiving at 5 for 56, 11.2. And then, excuse me, frog in my throat, Steve Smith, 6 receptions for 51 yards, 8.5. He was the one that received the passing touchdown from Cam Newton.
Who winning 1 touchdown? No.
Yep.
You know, if you look at these stats, it's like the Panthers can be an average team on paper, but nothing works for them.
Neither team has.
Yeah.
They have no offense.
No.
If you gave me these stat sheets here, and you told me, do these teams look good to you? I'd say, yeah, they're okay. You wouldn't know how terrible the Panthers are from just looking at their stat sheets at some of their players.
Some of their players, no, but both teams, neither one should have showed up. I feel sorry for whichever unlucky bastard had to commentate this game.
Just bring an iPad with you, and you're probably set.
I was gonna say in my mind.
And I'm actually using an NFL.com site, and I'm watching the Seattle coach getting excited about his defense, and I'm like, why are you getting excited about this game? This game sucked.
What were you gonna say, Ali?
I was gonna say it just makes me think that the ball went back and forth a lot, but it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it went jack shit, dude.
I have to. What? It seems that the Seattle coach is always getting overexcited in general.
Well, when jack shit's happening on offense, I guess you got to get excited about something.
Oh, Pete Carroll's their head coach. I couldn't find out. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. Dear Lord. We go on to the Cincinnati Bengals traveled to the Chicago Bears and lost by 3 points.
Well, I think this is like the a two-part
Change the water. Good.
Yeah, what was it here? I think there was a two-part influence. One, because the Bengals have half of a cat's curse, and the Bears kind of have that unholy luck.
Sorry about that. It's the NFL's. The NFL.com's website sucks. It has fucking ads in it.
Ad blocker, oh yeah.
Ad blocker, oh yeah. So I'll give you the stats for this game. This game, there was actually scoring to be had here. Obviously, it's 21.
Well, it generally has this automatic video that plays when you go to their scores.
Yeah. Cincinnati and Chicago both scored a touchdown in the first quarter. Cincy scored a touchdown in the first. Chicago scored a field goal in the second. Cincy scored a touchdown in the second, and Chicago scored a field goal in the second. Third, both of them scored a touchdown. Fourth, Chicago scored the winning touchdown of the game. Stats. Jay Cutler from the Chicago Bears. 21 completions for 33 attempts, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mhm.
The rush. What happened to the rushing game here?
The rushing game. Matt Forte, 19 carries for 50 yards. That's 2.6 yards per carry.
Whoa.
Yay.
And he managed to get a touchdown, by the way, folks.
And still, he managed to do better. And oh my God!
Then Ben
So,
Jarvis, Green Ellis. Let's go over. Let's go over to the Cincinnati Bengals.
The worst looking rushing stats I've ever seen in my life.
Yep, let's go over to the Cincinnati Bengals. Quarterback-wise, they did okay. It was quite a similar story for Andy Dalton here. 26 for 33, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Similar story, really, with Jay Cutler. Running. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, 14 carries for 25 yards, 1.8 yards per carry.
I think you might.
And it's the only
day job.
And the maddening thing is, he got a touchdown too.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, get a new day job. If you can only move.
No, not him. Not him.
Oh.
Tell the defensive line of the Chicago Bears to get a day job. Because seriously, with these stats, he shouldn't even be able to get to 4th down.
Carry the ball 3 fucking feet.
He should not have been able to get a touchdown with those
one
stats.
step forward.
He should not have been able to get a touchdown with those stats.
He shouldn't.
It literally, on average, he couldn't do 10 yards for each 4 downs he has. So
5 yards.
The best, seriously, coaches don't complain about a running back that can get 5 yards per carry. That's a decent running. It's not elite, but it's a decent running back.
As long as they can get 3.4 yards per carry, they can get a first down in 3 downs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually coaches will be ecstatic if they get a running back that does 5 yards per carry.
Like,
A guy
even 2.5 is the logical limit for it. I mean, that's 10 yards right there for you, and that's as little as you can go.
I think I wouldn't get a running back who would have to risk the punt to run the ball back.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you wouldn't. But I'm saying that's the least amount you can have.
That's the least amount you can possibly have to say that you are a proper running back.
Yeah, if you get less than 2.5, you are a failure as a running back.
He got 1.8 per carry.
Have you ever considered third string?
How is this guy a starter?
People Gatorade? I don't know.
How is this guy a starter? I mean, I know he's going up against the Chicago Bears defense, but still.
That's a real fucking defense, but still.
Come on.
The thing is, there's another rushing back that looks a bit better than him. So what? Why is this guy the starter?
I don't know. I don't watch the Bengals. I don't plan to watch the Bengals at all.
I'll never watch the Bengals, but
it's. I picked the Bengals to win, and I'll tell you why I picked them to win. Because the Chicago Bears always win games they have no right of winning, and when it comes to a game they should easily win, they shit the bed. And this was a case of, this is a game they could easily win. They're gonna shit the bed on picking the Bengals. But the Bears decided they must have found out about my pick, and they were like, we're gonna prove that Riddler asshole wrong. Let's go out there and beat the Bengals.
You know, I like to think that the only people who actually watch our shows are the coaches for the NFL league. They're the only ones out there who actually watch our show. Nobody actually watches it from the fans, from the watchers, people who like the sport. No, it's just the coaches.
Just the coaches. We move on to a game that I was so happy about the result, but I just couldn't watch out of principles because it had the Browns in it. My favorite team, the Miami Dolphins, traveled to the Cleveland Browns and won 23-10.
Cleveland sucks.
And Miami's fucking good.
Yep.
Well, not really, not with the stats here.
Yeah.
These stats. We were talking about bad running backs, guys. Okay, get a load of these stats here. You back, Roxanne?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's talking about bad running stats here for the Miami Dolphins. They won. They came out on top. That's all I care about. But they need to fix this fucking running game. We'll talk about Ryan Tannehill first. It's his second year as a quarterback, so I'm not expecting big things of him. I'm not expecting like 300, 400-yard games, so I was happy.
He's doing all right.
He's doing all right. 24 completions for 38 attempts, 272 yards, touchdowns. Well, that's something I can expect from a young guy like that. I can expect that. One INT. I get that. He's a young guy. Last year was his rookie year. He's got to mold into the team, but he's doing all right. Running game. The fuck happened here? 8 carries. Daniel Thomas. 8 carries. 14 yards. 1.8 yards per carry. 1 touchdown. Okay? Even worse than this guy, Lamar Miller, 10 carries for 3 yards, 0.3 yards per carry.
Oh, yeah. What team are we talking about?
The man is so close to going negative yards
The Miami
in his average.
The Miami Dolphins. This guy, Lamar Miller, he carried it 10 times. 3 yards.
Guys,
so technically, on average, he either doesn't move or goes backwards.
That's inexcusable.
On average, he moves 1 foot.
That's inexcusable. We need to when the draft comes up, Miami Dolphins coaching staff, if you're listening to us, get a new running back, please. For the love of God.
Get a guy in a wheelchair. He can do better.
Receiving, they've got.
Get me! I've been sitting here doing nothing all day. I think I can do better.
They've got some decent receiving, though. However, Brian Hartline, I really like this guy.
Do you think you can get 1 foot? Can you go more than 1 foot with a football?
Probably.
Yeah, then you're probably a better running back than him.
I'm probably a better running back than Lamar Miller. Brian Hartline, I really like Brian Hartline. I'm glad we've got him on our team. 9 receptions, 114 yards, 12.7 average, 1 touchdown. He got a touchdown. Then there... excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat today. Brandon Gibson, 7 receptions for 77 yards, 11 average. No touchdowns, but hey, I'm happy. We were basically passing. We can't do the run anymore for whatever reason. Cleveland Browns, Brandon Weeden, 26 completions for 53 attempts, 289 yards, 1 touchdown.
And he got sacked 6 times.
He got sacked 6 times.
They had his number.
Yeah, they had his number because not only did he get sacked 6 times, he got intercepted 3 as well. The defense was all over Brandon Weeden.
Ow, they had him fucking scouted. Jesus.
They had him fucking scouted. That was brilliant. I loved it. It was good to see the Miami defense. It's probably because they were against the Browns. But anytime I can see the Miami defense actually do something, I'm happy. Rushing, they did better than the fucking Dolphins at rushing. Trent Richardson, 13 carries for 47 yards, 3.6 per carry. Receiving, they've got Jordan Cameron, 9 receptions, 108 yards, 12 carry average, 1 touchdown. Then Devon Bess, a guy that we used to have on the Dolphins before they traded him away or got rid of him from waivers. I forget what we did with him, but we did have him last year, and now we don't. But Devon Bess, 5 receptions for 47 yards, 9.4 average. Maybe it was a good idea we got rid of Devon Bess.
If the Bears actually if you look at this receiving list, if the Bears actually put the time and effort into each of these people, if any of them had any talent, even a minuscule amount,
You mean
this could
Browns?
be a very scary. This could be a very scary receiving game because this is like 8 receivers. Imagine if you have 8 receivers to watch for.
You mean the Browns, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, the
You're
Browns.
talking about Dolphins versus Browns. But I'm happy. I predicted the Dolphins to win. Dolphins won, my favorite team. But you guys need to work on that fucking running game.
You know what? They've always said that Brian. I've seen somewhere where they're saying Brian Whedon's on the hot seat, and I'm like going. So that here's the problem. I'm thinking here's the problem with that. Who have they got to replace him?
Nobody.
Yeah, and they don't have a good history with they don't have exactly a history of good quarterbacks in Cleveland.
Well, here's the thing.
What does Cleveland have that's good?
If Brandon Whedon is not the answer, then where is the answer coming from?
Look, if you ask me, Brandon Whedon isn't really the big issue here. If he's getting sacked that many times, then there's something seriously wrong with your defense.
No, you mean your offensive line.
Yeah, your linemen just are letting people through like nothing.
They're
Yeah.
people through like absolutely nothing.
He had three interceptions, but when you're under duress, you can't really do much.
Well, I bet he was fucking panicking because his offensive line was not there. And he was just like,
exactly.
Throw the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens to any. That can happen to any quarterback.
Getting crushed by like 300 motherfuckers.
Even some of the good ones. I mean, look at what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Even though they should have won that game because of a bad call. Yeah. They were just beating Aaron Rodgers down to the point like that like he started to get like nervous. He started to like lose his confidence, and that's what generally you do if you can sack the other guy that many times. He loses his confidence. He starts.
Yeah, that's why he missed so many fucking passes because he was like panicking.
He starts to like your quarterback starts to flinch. You start to get worried. Oh God! You start to go. Oh God! Oh God! I'm gonna get hit again. You start to get.
It's a team sport,
and
if you have good linemen, you can be confident enough to throw the fucking pass properly.
We'll move on to.
That's generally. I mean, like generally. I don't know if you guys know this, but when it comes to a defense, you don't tackle to injure the guy, but you do want to tackle the guy and make sure it hurts.
Fucking feel it.
That's where the intimidation factor comes from, and that's how you can make a quarterback flinchy and nervous. Is like, go, oh God, I'm gonna get hit again. God, please no.
Don't hit me.
Stop hitting me.
Speaking of a team that needed to improve its defense really in this game, the Minnesota Vikings traveled to the Detroit Lions and lost.
What the fuck happened here?
Minnesota Vikings 24, Detroit Lions 34. It was the debut, by the way, the Detroit Lion debut for Reggie Bush, the man who's passed along more than any other football.
The hoe of football. No.
Hey, Reggie Bush, welcome to the Saints. We're done with you. Go to the Dolphins. Hey, Reggie, welcome to the Dolphins. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Go to the Lions.
Then the Lions were like, "Sup?"
Well, they kind of need Reggie Bush because they don't have Javid Best anymore because his career got ended.
Yeah. He's not bad, but he's nothing really
He's
to
not special.
yeah,
It's
he's nothing
okay,
to
but
write
it's not
home
anything to
about.
write home about. I think it's
Uh,
Yeah.
name power than anything.
it's just name power, yeah. Here's the box score on how it ran down. Minnesota in the first quarter got 7. Detroit got 3. In the second quarter, Minnesota got 7. Detroit got 10. In the third, Minnesota got 10. Detroit got 14. In the fourth, Minnesota got jack shit. Detroit got 7. Christian Ponder, 18 completions for 28 passes, 236 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 INTs. Matthew
I remember
Stafford,
saying for no reason that fucking Detroit's gonna have a better year than last year.
yeah, he did. Matthew Stafford, 28 for 43, 357 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Rushing, Adrian Peterson, 18 carries for 93 yards, 5.2 average, 2 touchdowns. Christian Ponder himself ran 4 carries for 12 yards. He got 3 per carry. Reggie Bush got 21 carries for 90 yards, 4.3 average.
That's pretty good.
It's okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I don't know how to pronounce this name. Joaquin
Joaquin, I think.
Joaquin Bell, 6 carries for 25 yards, 4.2 average, 2 touchdowns. Reggie Bush also had receiving yards. He received 4 passes for 101 yards, 25.2 average, 1 touchdown.
So overall, Reggie Bush was the key player of that game.
Yep.
He's the reason why the Lions won.
Yep. Nate Burleson had 6 receptions for 78 yards, 13 average. Excuse me. On the Minnesota side of the passing, we have Jerome Simpson, 7 receptions for 140 yards, 20 average. And then there's Greg Jennings, who got 3 receptions for 33 yards, 11 average. Rocktown, what did you think about your Minnesota Vikings in their first game?
This
might
just
be a bad season.
They're so frustrating to watch. It's just it's like this defense is horrible. Where was the defense in this game for the Vikings? They couldn't generate a pass rush. They couldn't stop the run, which is one of the things that they've been good at. That they generally tend to do well at. They couldn't stop that at all. Well, it was more that they couldn't stop Reggie Bush. I mean, 90 yards, I guess they kind of shut him down on the running yards, but yeah, they couldn't stop the running back. More likely, it was more of that sense. So, I mean, if you can get him to 90 yards, that's not huge. So it was more just they couldn't stop Reggie Bush in general. Yeah. So I guess they did okay against the runs because they only got a total of 105. No, 95. Yeah, 105 yards. I think 115 rushing yards total for the Lions. So, I mean, that's pretty good on the defensive run. It's just they couldn't stop anything else, which is, yeah.
The passing yards, the passing was pretty much what killed them.
As I said before, I do not. Their secondary is still horrible, and it doesn't look like it's changed at all. If anything, it looks like it's gotten worse. It's hard to trust the Vikings against a team that can pass the ball, because if they can't, if this trend continues where they can't rush the passer, which is the only way they can stop. Was the only way they can really clamp down on a passing team at all? They're in trouble.
Yeah, I
mean, they were without. There is one though. They are currently without defense. Their All-Pro defensive tackle Kevin Williams. So that didn't exactly help them.
That's not helping them, but I've got big question marks up in the air for the Vikings after this game.
Yeah, and one of the things the commentators were noting about Christian Ponder was that he has this tendency to kind of lock his eyes onto his receivers.
Yeah, he gives it away. He gives it away.
I mean, like, I can't imagine how hard it would be to be an NFL quarterback, but how really hard is it to be able to, like, make it look like you're looking to one guy, and with like your peripheral vision, see the other guy that's open and then throw.
This is
make it look like fake him. I just don't see how. Is it really that hard to? I just don't see.
It can be hard, but that's what he's being paid for. He should be able to do it.
It's something a quarterback should know to do.
That's what that's what a quarterback should be able to do, is fake him out with your eyes, make him think that you're going here when you're really going here.
Yeah, they need to.
And the other problem is, like, I mean, Adrian Peterson start off. He promises he wants to. His goal is 2,500 yards, which is wow. That's man, that guy. I can't exactly completely fault him for it. I mean, the guy is really good and he has a lot of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And he started off the first touch of his entire season, first running play, 78-yard touchdown.
Well, at least you can say that he's taken his goal seriously. I mean, he just needs to get the balls even better.
The problem is he was shut down from that point on and only got about 18 yards on the next 17 carries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically had one good carry the entire game, and the rest he couldn't do anything.
Yep. They need to get their shit together.
I mean, I don't honestly I don't really blame that on Peterson.
No, I don't
really
blame that on Peterson.
I think the problem was our offensive line was not generating the holes for Adrian Peterson, and Peterson can't do it all by himself. You can't always expect your running back to create holes for himself. You got to create the holes for him.
Really, Peterson strikes me as the kind of guy, if you just give him the chance, he will run like 70 yards in one go, every 5 or every other play, you know. But you just have to give him the chance to be able to do that. You just have to you have to make room for him.
Yeah. We'll move on then.
And Christian Ponder is still making just fucking idiotic decisions. There was one interception where, like, he's being chased, he rolls left and then still throws the ball up towards like a, I don't know where he was trying to go with that ball, and it gets easily intercepted. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Ponder? You should not have been throwing throwing the ball in that direction. If you're going to throw the ball at all, you should have thrown it away, or just take the sack.
Well, I think taking the sack would have been worse. Maybe he was throwing the ball away, Rocktown.
No, he wasn't. It was pretty clear that he was trying to make something out of that one when he shouldn't have.
Well,
taking the sack would not have been a bad. Would have been a lot less. Would have been worse, because they were doing well on that drive, and they were, I think, doing well on that drive.
Yeah, they lost yards. They lost yards, and that's not a good thing. But anyway.
Even if that would have, even if the sack would have, like, given them a fourth and out, like a 3 and out, that's still better than just giving them the other team the ball.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's enough about the Vikings.
There is one thing I want to mention, and I was thinking about this. I guess this has always been the case. It's been the case for a long time. But it's still it's still something that, when I think about it, it's like, oh, why has it been this way, and why is it this way, and why has it always been this way? It seems that running plays and passing plays, when it comes to how you have to get the ball into the end zone, are different. Like if you run the play in, if you're running into the end zone, all you have to do is break the plane of the end zone with the ball. That's it. However, if it's passed into the end zone, you have to make sure both feet are down, and you have to complete the catch all the way to the ground.
Well, that's just the rules of passing in general, anyway.
But there is one thing that bugs me, is like, if this isn't a rule, it should be. If and Lomder or Lordstar told me that he thinks that this is the case, that if even if you are just reaching out with the ball, that you should still have to actually keep control of the ball. Well, there was a play where the Lions running back, I think it might have been, it might have run Reggie Bush. He reaches over, supposedly breaks the plane, which I still don't believe he did. And then immediately, as he breaks the plane, the ball gets knocked out and ends up in the Vikings' hand. Shouldn't that be a turnover? Just because he breaks the plane, shouldn't he have to keep the ball in his hands the whole time? If that's not a rule, it should be. So he gets a touchdown even though the ball got knocked out of his fucking hand. What the fuck is that shit?
That's the NFL for you.
Sometimes their rules always contradict each other because they have so many rules that they can't really check for consistency. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know another thing that another thing pissed me off is, I want to know. I wish I remembered who was the commentary on in this game, because I tell you this much: I never want them to commentate a Viking game ever.
Was it Jim Nantz and Phil Simms?
It might have been. I don't know, but they said
Jim Nantz is the one that sounds kind of like this, and he's got a really high squeaked pitch voice, and then Phil Simms.
I'm not really sure who it was.
Then Phil Simms is the guy that's kind of got that southern tone, and
all I know is during that scoring play, they tell one of the commentators says everyone in Detroit knows that was a touchdown. And all the knucklehead fans in Minnesota say it wasn't. Fuck you!
That sounds like it could have been from Phil Simms' mouth.
You know, honestly, that play, the way from the clips that they showed, that play could have gone either way, in my opinion. I still don't think it was across the play, but it is one of those things that I could see going either way. All they should have said is, it looks to us like he broke the plane and it's a touchdown. That's all you need to say. You don't insult the fans for thinking the other. You don't insult the fans by thinking it might not be a touchdown, because it's one of those things that was so close it could have easily been the other way around.
Yeah, it sounds like it could have come from Phil Simms' mouth, but they've got a ton of commentators, but it sounds like it could have come from Phil Simms. We'll move on then, because you've had a nice long rant about the Vikings. We'll go on to the Oakland Raiders. Travel to the Indianapolis Colts and lost.
Who's gonna win? No.
I picked the Raiders to pull off an upset here, and sadly that did not happen.
I'm sorry, but
I'm surprised you did.
Not the Raiders.
I don't know why I picked the Raiders. I did. I thought it was a good idea at the time. And I was wrong. But to be fair, the Raiders had a good showing.
What would you have done if you were right?
I would have called myself a football genius if I was right. The Raiders did have a good showing. Terrell Pryor, 19 completions for 29 attempts, 217 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's pretty okay.
He also ran the ball. 13 carries for 112 yards, 8.6 average. That's for
also
a quarterback.
pretty fucking good.
That's for a quarterback.
That's really good, but that's also a problem when you have to be the main rusher, because Darren McFadden only got 48 yards on 17 carries.
He got it.
Good.
Darren
really, and a really bad average.
Sounds like the quarterback's doing all the fucking work.
Yeah, Darren McFadden got a 2.8 average, so Terrell Pryor kind of picked up the slack on the running game. Darren McFadden did get a touchdown, however, but it was Terrell Pryor when it came to the running game. It was all fucking
that sounds
Terrell
like the quarterback was doing all the work.
Yeah, he was doing all the work.
But he also unfortunately threw 2 interceptions into the red zone.
He did, yeah. Andrew Luck, 18 completions for 20. He did not have a good game, actually. 18 completions for 23 attempts. Not bad for the completions, but he only got 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, though, so Andrew Luck actually also decided to run the ball. 6 carries for 38 yards. He got 6.3 carrying average, 1 touchdown. So he got like 3 touchdowns for the Colts in that game. He got 2 passing. He got every touchdown basically. He got 2 passing and 1 rushing. So Andrew Luck did all the fucking work on the Colts.
I see something.
I'm not completely. I guess I shouldn't be completely surprised that the Raiders came as close as they did, because the Colts have no defense.
It shouldn't surprise me, really, that the Colts relied on their quarterback to do all the work. It's been an age-old story in the Colts franchise. Fucking Peyton Manning, Johnny Unitas. It's a Colts tradition.
It's just one of those things, though, at the same time, that I didn't expect the Raiders to score that as many points as they did either.
I did. I expected an upset, and it came close to an upset, in all fairness, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. And the Colts won. Yeah, joy. We'll move on then to the Green Bay Packers traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. And if you had any doubt that the San Francisco 49ers were a good team, watch this game.
I actually have a team to cheer for.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers 28, the San Francisco 49ers 34. This Green Bay got a touchdown in every quarter, but San Francisco managed to get 2 in the last quarter.
Where was the defense for the 49ers? That's kind of a problem. I mean,
it is. Aaron Rodgers, he got 21 completions for 37 attempts, 333 yards for 3 touchdowns. He got 1 interception. Colin Kaepernick, he had a good fucking game. Colin Kaepernick, 27 completions for 39 attempts, 412 yards for 3 touchdowns. Rushing game wasn't that good for the Packers. Eddie Lacy, 14.
The guy that they want to be their answer at running back.
Yeah, apparently. 14 carries for 41 yards, 2.9 average, 1 touchdown. Aaron Rodgers took to running the ball. He had 2 carries for 13 yards, 6.5 average.
So that doesn't really say much. It's only 2 attempts.
It was only 2 attempts, exactly.
But it's still if you get a better yard average than your than your running back, that's a problem.
It's a problem, and especially when you do it in less attempts as well. Frank Gore had a terrible running game, worse than Eddie Lacy. He had 21 carries for 44 yards, a 2.1 average with 1 touchdown. He did not do good in that game. Their other running back, Kendall Hunter, 6 carries for 24 yards, 4-yard average. Receiving by the San Francisco 49ers, Anquan Bolden.
Holy crap.
Anquan Bolden, 13 receptions for 208 yards, 16-yard average, 1 touchdown.
Damn.
That's some quality running back right there.
Anquan Bolden is a huge pickup for the Niners, man.
He's a very good wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. He's probably like their franchise wide receivers. Vernon Davis.
They picked him up from the Ravens.
Yeah, they did. Vernon Davis, tight end, 6 completions for 98 attempts. 6 receptions for 98 yards. 16.3 average, 2 touchdowns. On the Green Bay Packers side of things, they've got Jordy Nelson, 7 receptions for 130 yards, 18.6 average, 1 touchdown. This was a shootout, basically. And Randall Cobb got 7 receptions for 108 yards. I gotta go answer the phone. Talk amongst yourselves.
So let's see here.
How's the weather? Is it hot?
It's hot and dusty.
Yeah, I figured.
No, it's not as hot or dusty today.
It's cold here because it's cold.
There was a crucial point in this game where once again the just like that happened to them last year, the Packers got screwed over by a ref against an NFC West team. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Yeah, I do.
Because it was a big story over the sports media.
Now the Packers fans won't be shutting up this time. Because
I think they might, because it was one of those things where it was a big thing, sort of, but it was one of those things that it didn't happen at the end of the game, like last year did, where it was clearly like the Packers should have won, kind of where it literally cost them a win. This is like one of those things where it happened in the course of the game while the game was still going. It's one of those things where when when a bad call is made, the hardest thing to do is to not let your emotions completely go out of control to the point like you let it devastate you. You kind of have to, like, if a bad call happens like that, if a really bad call happens, sometimes you really, in the heat of a game, you really just have to roll it into this, like, say, okay, here's what we got to do,
Come up with a plan.
We can't let this affect us, because if we do, then they're just going to then we've let them take advantage of this, kind of thing.
Don't let them roll for you. Fucking fight the entire way down.
Yeah, if you have a bad call, don't go, oh shit, no, now we're fucked, man. No, in the heat of a game, you can't. You gotta just roll with it. But basically, here's what happened, and this is the regular refs, so they should know better. Colin Kaepernick is running to the outside. Clay Matthews hits him out of bounds, so it's a personal foul on Clay Matthews. Then one of the 49ers players gets in Clay Matthews' face and and starts jostling with him, so he gets a penalty against him. So now the call is offsetting personal fouls. Now, what should have happened, the rule is, if there's offsetting personal fouls, it should be a dead ball, and the result of the play, it should have been 4th and 2 for the 49ers. Instead, they let the 49ers replay 3rd down. And then on the very next play, 49ers get a touchdown.
Yeah, bullshit calls.
Yeah, we're talking about the bullshit calls.
NFL for you.
They're not the fucking refs aren't perfect, even if they're like regulars.
They're better than the fucking ones that we had last year.
That was amazingly bad.
Well, last year was especially terrible.
I mean, it got to the point that when the regular refs came back, they got fucking standing ovations. So
they're still not like perfectly objective refs.
But I mean, that just shows you how bad it was last year when the regular refs got fucking standing ovations. So they're bad, but let's just remember last year and thank our lucky stars that isn't happening again. Okay. Let's remember that.
Yeah, at least the refs are costing a team a game.
Yeah, they're not costing the team a whole fucking game, exactly. We'll move on to a game that I did not watch, although the score says maybe I should have. The Arizona Cardinals traveled to the St. Louis Rams. They lost, but only by a field goal, really. 24-27.
What the hell? Where has this Ram team's been all these years? What the? Sam Bradford suddenly catches fire? The guy that's been kind of... I mean...
The guy who, when you look at his picture, reminds you of a moose?
The guy who's kind of one of those guys that's really seems overrated.
Seriously, guys, look at Sam Bradford's picture and tell me that doesn't make you think of a moose.
Wait, yeah, you might need to find me the picture.
Just click his name.
I don't. Where?
Here.
Here.
I'll give you. I'll give you a link.
I'm on the pick'em chart.
Yeah, he looks like a moose. Okay.
Right there. That's his profile.
He reminds me of a moose. But speaking of Sam Bradford's,
holy shit! It's Bullwinkle.
It's fucking Bullwinkle. He's a fucking moose. So we go to, Sam Bradford.
It's Bull Ruggy.
Sam Bradford, 27 for 38, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rushing, Darrell Richardson, 20 carries for 63 yards, 3.2 average. Zach Stacy only got 1 carry in for 4 yards, 4 average, obviously, because he only had 1 carry.
They've
got a good game in the passing game.
Yes, Jared Cook, 7 receptions for 141 yards. That leaves him with a 20.1 average, 2 touchdowns. Excuse me. And Tavon, is that how you pronounce it? Tavon Austin, 6 receptions for 41 yards, 6.8. Some of these fucking players have weird names. Carson Palmer, for the Cardinals, he had a good game as well, actually. 26 for 40, not so good with the completions, but 327-yard passing, 2 touchdowns. Then Rashard Mendenhall, I got the name right, that's what I was scared of getting wrong. Rashard Mendenhall, 16 carries for 60 yards, 3.8 average. Alfonso Smith, 10 carries for 26 yards, 2.6, that was the rushing. Receiving, they've got Andre Roberts, 8 receptions for 97 yards, 12.1 average. And Michael Floyd, 4 receptions, 82 yards, 20.5 average.
You skipped somebody.
Who did I skip?
Yeah, you skipped Larry Fitzgerald, who got them 2 touchdowns.
Ah, yes, Larry Fitzgerald. He 8 receptions for 80 yards. He got 2 touchdowns actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not 3. Just seeing anyone else that impressed me in that game. No, that was basically it.
Nah,
Yeah, I know the Cardinals are terrible, but they got a huge upgrade in quarterback by getting Carson Palmer, and they still couldn't win against the Rams, who were.
Well, the Rams didn't exactly make it easy in this game because really this was something like totally unexpected.
Because Bullwinkle just decided to come out and fucking surprise everybody.
Surprise! I knew how to play all along.
You motherfuckers, I've just been trolling you for a few years.
I was making sure you were loyal to me.
Bullwinkle apparently finally discovered how to actually throw the football correctly in the cartoons.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, Bullwinkle, good for you. You know we're gonna call him Bullwinkle from now on. You do know that.
Yep.
We're gonna call him Bullwinkle.
I don't think he can give us his consent or anything on that.
No, he can't. That's his nickname.
I imagine he would be totally cool with that.
That's his nickname, Bullwinkle.
He looks like the kind of guy who could take that joke.
Compared to probably what people have called him before, and probably what some people have called him on the street. People like, Bullwinkle, really? Let me give you a hug.
Let me give you a high five for that one.
Everybody loves Bullwinkle.
Yeah, everyone loves Bullwinkle. Yeah, that's the new nickname. The St. Louis Rams are led by Bullwinkle.
But yeah, all these names remind me of the name I made my character on franchise mode in Madden. I called him Teflon Jackson. Because it's the what they coat frying pans with, and I thought that would be like a good ghetto name.
They do have some really fucking strange names. We'll move on to the game that did surprise me, which apparently Hulk Hogan had decided to go to. Don't know if you saw that, but if you watch the games, like the highlights, Hulk Hogan's like cutting a promo and he's wearing like a Dallas Cowboys vest. That was weird. I think that was like the pre-game. I don't know, but yeah, Hulk Hogan.
And that's the other thing. Isn't Hogan from Tampa?
I don't know. He was in the crowd anyway and wearing a Cowboys.
He's kind of a proud Florida dude.
Yeah, he was wearing a Cowboy shirt and in the crowd. Don't know whether they paid him for that. I don't know. Maybe he was just
there because he wanted. They probably fucking paid him for that. Hulk Hogan only listens to money.
Yeah, they probably fucking paid him for that. New York Giants traveled to the Dallas, led by Interception Man Romo Cowboys.
Mr. Interception himself.
Yeah, Interception Man, and they lost 31-36.
It reminds me of an Inception.
The story of this game is like apparently the Jets. The Giants. I guess I get them confused because they're both from New York, New Jersey.
Jersey.
Hey, it's the New York Giants, not the New Jersey.
Jersey Giants.
Actually, that might be a better name, the Jersey Giants.
I'd like to think
Jersey Giants.
I'd like to think that they're just so ashamed of New Jersey. They're just so ashamed of New Jersey as a state and as an actual living place that they refuse to accept the name into their team.
New Jersey just pretend that it's part of New York.
They do. They just pretend.
Well, it's because of how close the stadium is to New York that it's like considered a suburb of New York. That's why.
The story of this was that Eli Manning was actually Interception Man in this game.
Yeah, the story of this game was that the Giants might as well have been walking over to the Cowboys defense with the football covered in gift wrap and said, "Here you go. Oh, and while you're at it, go ahead and run that in for a touchdown while you're at it."
And they still came close to winning. It was only within 5 fucking points. But Eli Manning, other than his interceptions, had a good fucking game. 27 for 42. This is Eli Manning. 450 passing yards.
Not bad.
Four touchdowns. 3 INTs. He intercepted the ball way too many times. Tony Romo, 36 for 49 completion rating. Not even close to Eli Manning's passing yards. 263 passing yards. 2 touchdowns. 1 interception because it is Tony Romo. He didn't even come close to Eli Manning's. This was all because of the Cowboys' defense. The defense won the game for the Cowboys.
It was like basically though, like we just said, the Giants almost won this game. So basically, for all the praise you can get to the defense for creating the turnovers, I think it was more the Giants kind of did that to themselves, and the defense couldn't stop the Giants. So they basically needed every single one of those turnovers because the Giants almost came back and won.
Seriously, Eli Manning is carrying the weight of the Giants all on his shoulders.
He really is. This
team, and it isn't enough. You need a good team, not a good guy in the team.
Eli, all the fucking praise in the world goes to you, man. You're trying to carry this team because it's obvious.
I mean, seriously, with 450 yards.
Yeah, it's obvious you care about this. It is obvious you care about this team, Eli. It's obvious because you're trying to fucking carry this team on your shoulders. You're trying to get their shit together, but you can't do it on your own, man. You're really good. You're a great quarterback. You won.
You can pass really well, but you can't pass through like a shoe, you know?
You can't throw passes that aren't there, dude. You can't force it. And I get that you're really the only guy that's doing anything right now. But
him and Victor Cruz.
Yeah, Victor Cruz, he had 5 receptions.
And Hakeem Nicks isn't bad either.
Victor Cruz, 5 receptions, 118 yards, 23.6 average, 3 touchdowns. Hakeem Nicks, 5 receptions, 114 yards.
75% of his passes were touchdown passes.
There was this big touchdown, where I said, for all the turnovers, they needed every one of them because one of the first big touchdowns that New York Giants scored was like a 70-yarder because they completely blew their coverage and left Victor Cruz wide open and Eli Manning just hurled the ball down the field to Cruz, who was just who runs it in for the touchdown. Wow.
Now, here's my favorite.
How do you let him get that wide open?
Now, here's my favorite. This is also my laughing at the fans of Dallas. This was before the game. I want to make that note clear. This comment would not have happened if it was after the game. This was before the game. This was prediction time, this comment here from Facebook. This is what he was predicting for this game. Romo throws for 6 touchdowns and 400 yards as he begins his MVP season and leads the Cowboys to a 52-3 romp of the Giants.
How do you get 6 touchdowns and then score 52? That's not possible.
Well, running, but still.
Do you even math?
That's the Cowboys.
Peyton Manning got 7, and the score is 49. 6 touchdowns would have been. I have to actually calculate that,
dude,
because I'm not.
If that should guess, that doesn't mean he's involved in every single touchdown. That'd be like a couple of field goals or something, but still.
6 times. Well, let me figure it. Try to see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, this is how hype This is how much
Six
bandwagon.
times he's getting disappointed.
If you throw for,
That's 42. That's 42.
Yeah, 40. It would have been 42 points.
It's just, I have two questions for this guy. I won't say his name because that's not right to do that, to put this guy under the bus.
I'm not gonna fucking shame him publicly, but still, that was a stupid comment.
That's a fucking stupid comment. I'm not going to shame the guy publicly. But how much faith, how much Kool-Aid, how much of a homer must you be to predict, to have the audacity to predict not only that Romo, Tony Interception Man Romo, who's not done a thing worthwhile in his entire stay in the Cowboys, is going to have a 6-touchdown game for 400 yards as he begins an MVP season, leading the Cowboys to a 52-3 game in their first season game. How much Kool-Aid have you been drinking, sir? How much of Jerry Jones's bullshit did you buy?
Jim Jones.
And Jerry Jones right now, Jerry Jones, even Cowboy fans don't like this guy because he's both the owner and the general manager, so and he doesn't know a fucking thing about football.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, well, at least about at least he didn't know a fucking thing about the intricacies of the game. I'm not gonna say he's not a bad owner, but he shouldn't be the general manager. He shouldn't be a general manager by any means.
And the thing that annoys me is Cowboy fans, because they're the biggest fucking bandwagoners in all of football, will hop onto this and think, oh my god, this is the Cowboys' comeback. This means we're going to go on to the playoffs. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. Tony Romo's going to be an MVP. We're going to prove all the naysayers wrong. Tony Romo's going to go into the Hall of Fame because of this season.
Okay, Cowboy fans, a little talk here. If you do actually manage somehow by a long shot to get to the Super Bowl, trust me, it'll be despite of Tony Romo, not because of him.
It'll be despite of Tony Romo.
Yeah.
This guy.
Think about this, Cowboy fans. You just won your first ever game against the Giants in your own new home stadium, which has now been rechristened AT&T Stadium, even though Jerry supposedly promised that he would never sign a deal to change the name of the stadium. He's like, we're never changing the name. Oh, hi AT&T, you have a big check for me? I'll take that.
Like I said, he's a businessman, but when it comes to like owning a team, I don't think he knows what he's doing.
He doesn't know shit.
And yeah, you just won your first game against the Giants in your home stadium. That the first time you've ever won at home against the Giants in your home stadium. Not to mention the fact that every year, the past 3 times that the Giants have won the Super Bowl, they've lost to the Giants in their first game. So maybe there's a formula here that the Giants might actually be the ones to win the Super Bowl yet again, because every year they've done it, they lost the opening game to the Cowboys.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Cowboys. You need to get rid of Romo. You really need to get rid of this.
You can get a better quarterback.
This guy's done jack shit for you his entire stay.
Seriously, for the money you pay him, you could probably get anybody you want.
Get 2 good quarterbacks.
Hey, what? Do you know how much they're paying him? $100 million.
That's ridiculous. The only thing this guy's noteworthy of.
Good quarterbacks.
And it's another thing is he almost went out of this game on injury because he got hit in he got tackled by two guys, which bruised, which it looked like he got bruised ribs, and he somehow, to his credit, managed to come back and finish the game.
The only thing this guy's nowhere.
Seriously, yeah, go ahead.
The only thing this guy's
let
nowhere.
me say, I don't hate Tony Romo. I don't really hate Tony Romo. I don't. I honestly would love for him to prove me wrong and prove that he is actually as good as good as he should be. I really do want to see that.
And the thing is, people
not holding out hope for it.
The thing is, when people whenever an argument about Tony Romo begins, you can bet Cowboys fans are going to bring up stats to defend him, and that's the thing that quarterback arguments will always consist of. When it comes to this quarterback has done jack shit for you, they will immediately go to the stats and say, stat sheets prove you wrong, fucker. And I'm like, playoff game wins, how many has he got for you? Super Bowls, how many has he got for you? Shit all.
Once again, you can't base your team on one guy. It doesn't work.
It was a long Texas tradition to win one playoff game, and that was it. You go home the next day because you couldn't get the job done in playoffs. He's not taking you to a Super Bowl. He's not taking you to a championship game. He's taken you to the playoffs once or twice, but he's never gotten you to that further than that. He is.
And another thing, if I recall correctly, because I was watching this game in the background, it looked like Des Bryant got injured, and he actually was like throwing his helmet in disgust because he was so pissed that he did. I think he hurt his ankle, and who knows how badly he's. I haven't heard anything on how badly he's hurt and when they expect him to come back. But you just lost your best receiver.
Cowboy fans.
Here's the thing, Cowboys. You could kick out Tony Romo and get an entire good team with the money you pay him.
$100 million. That is disgusting.
Like I said, you could get like 3 awesome fucking quarterbacks for that price.
The only thing
you could get an awesome quarterback and three great backs in anything. You can get great wide receivers. You can get great running backs with that much money. Why do you have him?
This guy is simply known for having Jessica Simpson.
This is why Jerry Jones does not need to be, should not be a general manager. What the fuck are you smoking, Jerry?
This guy's literally.
What has he done to deserve $100 million payday?
I don't know, because the only thing I can think of, he's got Jessica Simpson as his girlfriend.
I'm sorry, I keep thinking of like candy bar names, because $100 million in payday and.
Luca fucking Lay, you know.
Maybe he's renting out Jessica Simpson to.
$100 million. That's ridiculous.
But even that, I wouldn't pay $100 million for a good lay. The best lay of my life wouldn't cost $100 million.
I'm sorry, Jerry. Is he what is Tony doing for you to earn that amount of money? He must be renting out his girlfriend. He must be letting Jessica Simpson give you a good roll around in the bed. He must be setting up hookers and blow for you on a daily fucking basis. There's no way. There's no other way this guy's earned $100 million without doing some kind of favor for you.
Maybe he has something on Jerry. Maybe he has some dirt on him.
Maybe he's blackmailing. We're coming up with conspiracy theories now. That's why this guy's never going to get fired. He's going to be the Ric Flair of football, and he's going to be playing until he's 76 years old. And it's why is this guy still on the Cowboys? And Jerry Jones is somehow still alive and 200 fucking years old.
He's like a robot cyborg.
And he's like a fucking robot, and it's whenever it comes to that meeting, it's hey Jerry, remember, I got these pictures, man. I got them in my locker. It's re-sign him, $100 million. Make it 200. He'll give me his girlfriend for the weekend as well. Fucking Jerry Jones. Seriously, what favors has this man done for you? Or what bullshit has he got on you? This is the only way. It's either he's done you a huge amount of favors.
Who did you kill, Jerry?
Yeah,
Mr. Jones, who did you kill?
You either killed someone and he knows about it, or like he's doing you an immense amount of favors. There's no way he's earned this on the football field. No chance. He's done something, or he knows something to have earned this. Sorry, that's the case. But Cowboys win it. Jerry Jones doesn't have to worry about the secret coming out, or he might just be enjoying Jessica Simpson's company for like a week or two. I don't know, but Tony Romo is going to walk away feeling as if he earned that $100 million. What the fuck? 100 million, that's just disgusting. We'll move on to the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Redskins, and like I said, this was the game with the crazy signs in it.
And this is a game where it looks like it may have been a bad idea to keep Robert Griffin completely away from the preseason, let alone probably the dumbest thing they did, if anything, is they kept him away from training camp, apparently.
Well, it's because he was injured.
Yeah, but training camp, you kept him away from training camp? Training camp, where they can basically tell the other players, don't touch him, don't tackle him.
Yeah, RG3 had a Porsche. Well, he didn't have anything.
I mean, I sort of understand why this happened. Basically, it's kind of a reactionary thing because of the media criticized the shit out of Shanahan for keeping RG3 in the game that he tore his leg up.
Yeah, it's all the media did, because when you look at the stats, RG3 did.
And I mean, his leg had been giving him, if I remember correctly, his leg had been giving him problems before that game. So his leg was already bad before this game started, and yeah, you know, Mike Shanahan should have yanked him as soon as he saw, like, he wasn't. There was a play where he wasn't even touched and came away limping. That should send you all. That should be like, okay, yeah, you're done, man.
Yeah, I don't blame RG3 for this. The guy's still fucking hurt.
I mean, even when he's hurt, he's still playing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he's fucking hurt.
It's right now. Mike Shanahan can't fucking win.
I'm just saying, though. This guy's injured.
He makes a bad decision. Everyone gives him shit for it. So he tries to make the right decision by not involving RG3 at all before the start of the season, and now and then RG3 for the first half looks like looks completely befuddled and out of sync and just utterly confused. And now they're giving shit to him and saying you should have put him in maybe some given some preseason reps. You should have let him do training camp. The guy can't win.
I'll give you that. Yes, RG3 had a fumble. He had 2 interceptions. Not good in that case. But like passing, it's like this guy was injured. Let me see 100% Like seriously, 30 for 49, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns. Running, okay, it wasn't the greatest attempt at running for RG3. The guy was fucking injured. But 5 attempts for 24 yards.
He had a 4.8 average,
4.8 average,
which is pretty good. I mean, if this is his running game on 1 foot, I'd like to see what it's like on 2 feet.
I'm like, this is him injured. Let me see him at 100%. He did good for the condition he was in. He had a good game. Now he still took that loss. and said, "Look, I played injured. There's no excuses for our loss. It's just that's the way it went. I wasn't 100%. We lost."
No, he didn't say that at all. He didn't mention the injury at all. He just said I played badly.
Yeah, he basically said he played badly.
I mean, if honestly, I think he's probably around maybe 95%. He may not be 100, but he's up there because he took some hits and he was fine. He took some shots.
He played badly, and that's like he said to himself. He played badly. He came out and he said, "I just played badly this week."
In sports, whenever you
he took some shots and he managed to get up.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Vardy?
I'm gonna say in sports, whenever you come back from a game, you're still kind of neurotic because you're worried you might not be 100%, and any sort of tiny bit of pressure will just send you right back to the hospital. So I'm not surprised he was kind of playing badly at the first half, because you're still kind of scared that maybe if I push it a little too much, I'm gonna injure myself all over again and even worse.
Yeah.
And that's why he really did need to go to the preseason camp, and he really needed to do that.
I think the Redskins are going to come back from this, though.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep losing games. They're going to come back from this, and I think they're going to pull off. And yeah, they're not going to stay in this slump.
You know what stuns me? Looking at the stat sheet, is they're actually praising Michael Vick's performance.
I don't know why. He did terribly. Michael Vick, passing 15 for 25, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. For a guy that's supposed to be an elite quarterback, that's meh. Okay.
Their big offensive presence was their running back LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy fucking got them this. It was 31 attempts for 184 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Vick also took to the running game, 9 attempts for 54 yards, 1 touchdown. It was just the Redskins had a bad game. Eagles took advantage of that, basically.
I didn't really expect the Redskins defense to be that bad. And the thing, and this is Chip Kelly's he has this thing that he's doing called something called the up-tempo offense. And there's one big problem with this. There's 3 key guys on the Philadelphia Eagles that they need in order to make that offense work. And even with the 3 guys, the problem is all 3 of these guys are older guys that are going to get gassed. Are getting gassed, but get gassed at the end of the game, and they actually slow down, which Robert Griffin started to fight himself, which is the reason that the Redskins almost actually came back and won it. And yeah, they better pray that Vic, McCoy, and Deshaun Jansen all stay healthy. If any one of them go down, that's it.
Yeah.
No more. Your whole offensive plan is fucked.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. It is. We go on to the Houston Texans versus the San Diego Superchargers, who lost.
This just stunned the fuck out of me, because I honestly was scared for a bit, and honestly thought, oh God, I'm going to lose another pick. How the hell, Texans? You have J.J. Watt, this absolute beast of a defensive tackle, and you let the Chargers score 28 points.
Because the Chargers...
What the hell is going on?
The Chargers didn't have a good game, guys. Phillip Rivers, 14 for 29, 195 yards. But because of the lack of defense, he still managed to get 4 touchdowns. although he was intercepted once. Rushing, the rushing was meh. The receiving was meh. It was all meh, but the only reason they got the points they did was because of Houston Texans' defense. Matt Schwab passing, we'll go on there because their offense was pretty good. Matt Schwab.
It's Matt Schaub.
Schaub.
It's not Schwab, it's Schaub.
Schaub.
It's Schaub, yes.
Schaub, okay. Matt Schaub, 34 for 45, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing, Adrian Foster, 18 attempts for 57 yards, 0 touchdowns. Excuse me. Ben Tate, 9 attempts for 55 yards, 0 touchdowns. And then there's Silo Keo. Fucking name.
Shiloh.
Silo Keo, 1 attempt for 8 yards. Receiving. Andre Johnson. Oh, God. Whoa. Andre Johnson, 12 receptions for 146. Owen Daniels, 5 for 67. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 for 66. And then the rest of it was... Seriously, the Chargers were just lucky that the Texans' defense didn't stop them.
It felt like
because he for all the touchdowns they got, he gave him a decent start, but unfortunately, as a reminder of last season, they blew 5 halftime leads.
Yep. They can't get shit done. And my question is, when are they going to start resorting to the stickum that never works again?
But that was they blew half. What I mean is, like, they blew 5 halftime leads last year, and yet here again is where they blew another halftime lead.
Yeah, they did. They blew another halftime lead. And my question is, when are they going to start resorting to trying to use the stickum again that never worked?
The worst stickums in the world.
The worst stickums in the world, seriously. Like, they tried to make a big scandal out of that, and it's just like, well, they're not catching the ball anyway, so who gives a fuck?
Who gives a shit?
Speaking of... Well, actually, no, giving a shit. I do actually give a shit about some of these games. Moving on to our picks for Week 2. We'll start with Thursday Night Football. The New Jersey Jets travel to the New England Let's Not Practice Patriots.
I think...
Well, go ahead.
I said I think the Patriots will win, but once again, because they're not practicing, they'll get, like, insanely close scores to the point where it's just like, really, fucking New England? You're going to disappoint that much?
Rocktown, what about you?
Yeah, I still think, regardless of... I mean, the Jets do have a good defense, but the Patriots know... the Patriots pretty much know the Jets really, really well, and it's fucking Brady that can dissect just about any defense in the NFL. I just... Even with them not practicing, it's one of those things like, even does Brady of all people really need to practice?
Yes, everyone needs to practice.
I don't know about Brady personally. It's just one of those things. I mean, like, he's so good that he almost kind of doesn't need to.
What about you, Friday?
The Patriots give no fucks. They have no fucks to give. They will win.
Yeah.
See,
Probably.
it's because they give no fucks that I think they will lose. History has told it time and time again with the Patriots.
And I mean, here's the thing: we know they're not going to their own stadium, but to practice to go back.
I said they're
But that
barely going to win. Barely.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they might be practicing some other way. You never know that.
I don't think.
Unless Bill Belichick is just trolling everybody. No, they're just having a walkthrough. Like, literally, okay. They barely got the win against the Bills. The fucking Bills. Okay.
I'm assuming, like I said, they give no fucks. They don't want to overexert themselves on the easy teams. They know they can beat without even practicing.
But the thing is, they barely won against the Bills. When you've barely won against the Bills, I think
Bills
regardless,
are the worst teams ever.
regardless how good you think you are, not giving a fuck is not the way to go. When you've almost lost against the Bills, it's time to get your shit together and fucking practice.
See, here's the problem. You're assuming they're playing on peak performance. I'm thinking, like I said, they give no fucks. Thus, they're not even trying.
And
They didn't almost lose to the Bills. They just won. They just did enough to win. That's what I'm thinking.
Then I think it's going to bite them in the ass.
Why would you half-ass an NFL? Why would you half-ass an NFL game?
They're
because if here's the thing, these are the first games, and who's fucking against them in the first games? They've got the Bills. They've got well, I'm blanking out. They got the Jets. Who's next? Who's after them in the schedule?
Who's after them facing the Jets? Let me see for you. Patriots are facing the Buccaneers in week 3. And then in week 4, I don't know if they've got a bye or not. Let me see. No,
that's Cincinnati.
They're facing the Falcons in week 4.
Yeah, they're facing. I'm guessing they're just gonna take it easy before the Falcons games, basically, because they want to be fresh while the Falcons are like a bit tired from 3 games in a row, and that might make a difference for them. I'm thinking that's what they're planning. Is that who gives a fuck about these teams? That's what they're thinking. If that's like you said, it might bite them in the ass, but I'm not thinking.
I think it will bite them in the ass. History has told them this before in the past. Don't give a fuck, you're gonna get your ass beat. They're not giving a fuck, they're gonna get their ass beat. If not by the Jets, then by the Bucks. And if not by the Bucks, then by the Falcons. They can't keep half-assing games. They half-assed against Buffalo.
I'm not
barely won.
I don't think they're gonna keep half-assing every game. They're not gonna half-ass the Bucks or the Falcons, for instance.
They are gonna have. If they win against the Jets, they're gonna keep half-assing. I think they need a team to fucking come up and.
Here's again, I'm just gonna keep saying it. I don't think they're half-assing it against the Jets and.
I don't think the Jets can get 2 wins in a row.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't think they're half-assing it against the Jets just to keep going to the Bucks and Falcons and keep half-assing it. I'm thinking they're half-assing it with the Jets so that the next game they're fresh and ready to not half-ass it against the Bucks and the Falcons.
I think if they half-ass it, they're going to lose. It's as simple as that. They can't keep half-assing games.
They're not going to keep half-assing games. They're half-assing games so they don't have to keep half-assing games.
Well, they're going to lose if they keep half-assing games. Is the problem.
They're not!
I think they're going to lose this week. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Okay. But you're basically betting the Patriots' incompetence against not giving a fuck versus the Jets' incompetence.
Because at least because you know what? At least their defense, Jets' defense, tries. They give a fuck. At least as fucked up as their offense is, they give a fuck. Patriots, defense and offense.
Here's the thing.
Give a fuck.
Here's the thing. If giving a fuck one games for you, You wouldn't see half the teams on here.
Given a fuck, how about Patriots versus Giants?
Well, Giants aren't exactly the worst the team ever. They were stumbling, but they're not exactly the Jets. There's a difference between the Giants and the Jets.
I still think the Jets are gonna pull out an upset here.
Okay.
I do. That's my opinion. St. Louis Rams versus the Atlanta Falcons, Sunday Night Football.
I don't see. Even though the Rams played really good, better than they
usually do.
Probably the best game they've had in a while. That was against the Cardinals, and even though the Falcons defense it seems a bit suspect, I still believe them to be the more complete team. I think they're going to come back with a win for this week.
Honestly, the Rams are an okay team, but they beat a slightly less okay team. And I think this is their first series contention, even if the Falcons are coming off from a loss. So I think that the Falcons are going to win, but not curb stomp them. They're just going to win.
Verde?
The same thing. I'm thinking the Falcons are going to win, basically because the Rams are still not really sure what they're doing. I'm thinking, they got to win, but it's not exactly I'm not thinking they can reproduce it every single time. Especially not against a team like the Falcons.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm going with the Ravens as well. So, we sweep with that one. The Carolina Panthers travel to...
you missed one.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did. The Cleveland Browns travel to the Ravens. I've got the Ravens.
If you want to see a more lopsided percentage.
I was going to say, I think the only way the Ravens could lose is if
all the teams, the amount of the percentage of people picking the Browns is the lowest percentage of any team of all the lower ranked picks at a low 7%. I don't care how bad the Ravens defense is. Josh Whedon just got sacked 5 times. The Ravens not be able to sack him that much, but they could probably get to Josh Whedon. The Browns suck that bad, and Browns have have really much of a defense to speak of. The Ravens are going to carve them up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that the only way that the Cleveland Browns could win is if the Browns debuted their new Minefield Arena, and half the team on the Ravens got blown the fuck up. So it's the Browns. Who the fuck loses against the Browns?
Yeah,
the Browns have the most fitting name. If you think about it, the Browns have the most fitting name of any team in the league because they literally are shit.
I was gonna say they're like
there are no players inside these suits and helmets. They are literally golems of shit.
Shit golems. Yeah.
Shit golems.
What were you gonna say, Ali? Before I make my pick and we can all move on.
I don't remember.
Okay, I picked.
Like I said, the Browns are like the Santino of wrestling. I mean, of football.
Yeah. I picked the Ravens. It's a fucking the Ravens fucking win. Carolina Panthers. This is going to be a terrible game. Travel to the Buffalo Bills.
How are people picking the Panthers? The Panthers to win against the Bills.
As much as I hate the Bills, I'm still gonna say they're better than the Panthers.
According to user consensus, the margin of error is really low, though.
The Bills almost won against the Patriots. The Panthers.
This is ass versus balls for me.
Got shut down by Seattle. Mind you, Seattle has a great defense. But Carolina is just flat out terrible. They have nothing. The only two team guys on that team that I can to consistently remember the names of are Cam Newton and Steve Smith.
Mm-hmm.
No one of that. There's no. You never hear positive things about any other. You never really hear about any of the other players on the Titans.
On the Panthers.
There's a reason for that. It's because they suck.
Yeah, Panthers, you mean, not the Titans. You said Titans.
Sorry, I meant the Panthers, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Titans.
Everyone's got the Bills picked, right?
Yep.
I actually picked the Panthers just because I wanted to pick something different.
And you just spent 5 minutes dissing them, and now you're gonna pick the Panthers?
I didn't diss them at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ali, if you want to pick the Panthers, that's sane people.
I was assuming you were dissing on them with us, in spirit.
Us sane people over here are going to pick the Bills and get a win, but you go ahead and pick the Panthers.
Fine, you'll just pick what everyone else picked. Good. Fine, whatever. Who gives a shit?
You can pick the Panthers if you want, I'm just saying.
No, I'll just pick what everyone else picks.
Well, if the team's obviously gonna win.
Don't. If you pick the Panthers and you win, you can laugh in our face.
It's not about who everyone else picks. It's about what team's gonna win. And I'm sorry, but Panthers are gonna lose. Minnesota Vikings travel to the Chicago Bears. I originally had the Minnesota Vikings picked, but I don't know anymore.
I'm gonna pick the Vikings on principle.
Even though my roommate thinks I'm jinxing the Vikings by picking them to lose. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick them to lose again, especially considering that defense just didn't do anything against the Lions.
Plus, it's the Bears who wins games they're not supposed to. Their defense.
Well, technically, they're expected to win this game, so they are supposed to win this game. So, technically, they're probably gonna lose this game.
They could, yeah, but they were supposed to win the Bengals game, and that was a case of, oh, then they're gonna shit the bed. But then they won the Bengals game, so they're probably gonna win this game. That's the thing with the Bears. You never know what to fucking predict with the Bears. Oh, they're totally gonna shit the bed at this one because they win games.
No, I'm not even basing it on statistics. I'm just picking the Bears to lose on principle alone.
I'm picking the Bears to win. Ali?
I'm going to pick the Bears to win because I think that what's going to happen with Minnesota is they're going to have a really shitty beginning streak, but then eventually they're going to start winning games, but it won't be enough. They'll end up at like 8-8.
Yeah.
I'm just expecting the Bears to completely blow the shit.
I honestly, as I said, I already picked them the flip-flop the record this year, and if that's the case, maybe finally this might be the last year for Ponder. And I think it's one of those. The problem is Rick Spielman, the general manager, was so high on Christian Ponder that if he kind of wants to keep Christian Ponder, because if he doesn't, then this looks bad on him for choosing him for getting him in the first place.
Yeah, it would look very bad on him for getting him in the first place. Washington Redskins travel to Green Bay to face the Packers. Alex, what do you have?
Given how bad the Redskins defense was, I have to go with the Packers here to win this one.
You got the Packers first. What about you, Ali?
I think that after last week's game, that I think the Redskins are going to pull it together a bit and barely fucking win.
Vardy?
I'm thinking that the Redskins are gonna win because the problem was that RGB was not doing that well.
He wasn't feeling good, but
Yeah, he wasn't feeling good, but he started to pick it up by the second half. So if that's anything to go by, he's gonna be okay in this game. And yeah, just like Hallie said, they're gonna eke out the win.
This is definitely a game that could go either way.
It could go either way.
You wouldn't know that by the polls.
You wouldn't know that by the polls, but it could go either way. I actually agree with Ali and Faraday. I do think RG3's gonna come back this week, get shit together. He's got time to recuperate. He's got time to train.
He's a good arm, even if he's not as mobile as he can be.
Yeah.
You don't have to have him run. I think the Redskins are going to pull it, or maybe eke it out. Just get it up by maybe a field goal or something. We'll go on then to the Tennessee Titans facing the Houston Texans.
Gee, I wonder who will win.
I got the Houston Texans.
Really fucking good.
I got the
Even though the Texans' defense is looking suspect.
Yeah, their defense isn't that great, but they can run a gun.
Only managed to score a total of 16 points. Yeah, I don't. And the Texans have a great offense. They're going to score. Even if Tennessee scores some points, the Texans are going to.
I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game.
Are going to beat them score-wise. So
it's going to be a really high-scoring game, and just the Texans are going to outgun them.
No, guys. I'm not sure where you're getting all this harshness from. I'm pretty sure the Titans will pull something. Sorry, I couldn't even go through with that.
You can't gun the Texans, dude.
Nah.
Yeah, everyone's got the Texans then.
Yeah.
Okay, we go on to the
92% of the votes.
Yeah, 92% of the votes went for the Texans. We go on to the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Indianapolis Colts. What have you got, Allie?
I'm going the Colts. Even though I know that fucking Eli Manning's just the only reason why they can even do well.
Eli Manning.
I don't remember the names.
Andrew Luck.
Okay, that guy.
What about you, Ron?
I don't remember names of football players anymore.
I mean,
cool.
I kind of do almost want to pick the Dolphins. I mean, I think they're better.
Dolphins are big fucking underdogs in this, but I don't think they're gonna.
But yeah, I mean, Ryan Tannehill is definitely, I think, a bit underrated, but you're going against Andrew Luck.
Yeah, the thing is, I remember
is one of those guys who's emerging now, you know.
Yeah, I remember names. I mean, I remember numbers better than names.
Yeah, you remember numbers. That's fine. That's fair enough.
This could be definitely a close game because Colts still don't have a defense.
Faraday,
But I think the Colts will edge them out.
Fair enough, Faraday.
This one could have really went either way. I even had the Colts picked until you actually said their names out, and I just switched it up because this really could go either way. I'm going with the Dolphins here.
Looking at the polls, I think the polls are bullshit because I think that Miami is going to give Colts a challenge, but I still think the Colts are going to win.
I think Miami are definitely the underdogs walking into this one. Nobody thinks they can get it done. I think they can. If they go for the running game, then they're stupid. If they go for the passing game, they got a chance. And actually, even if they do go for the running game, the Colts defense, like you said, Rock-10, it's very non-existent. So maybe they could actually get something done.
That could give them options, you know, because if they have options, it's a lot better than if they just stick to one game. If their
defense can just hold out long enough to not let them score so much, I think the Dolphins could outscore them.
And I'm going with the Dolphins to get the upset here. I think they can pull that out. If they do, I'll be a happy Dolphins fan. If they don't, I'll be like, oh, well, there's always next week.
We'll
move on to...
It's cool if they lose one or two games.
Yeah, it's close. At least 1 or 2 games. I'm fine with that. I will honestly be happy if the Dolphins go 8-8. I will 8-8 or 8-8 or higher. We'll be happy.
We're average.
This next game, I do not understand why the picks are this close.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys travel to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Regardless of the fact that they've gotten an upgrade in their quarterback, this is still the Kansas City Chiefs, an overall terrible team. Cowboys coming off a game where they just beat they just finally beat the Giants, and proved the major stat that they wanted to improve, which was turnovers, which they had 6. Considering they had 16 turnovers all year, they just got 6 of them. Yeah, I just don't. I think those. Alex Carson Palmer is not going to have a good day.
Ollie?
It's a team just looking to strip the ball.
Yeah, I pick Cowboys. I don't think they're going to, like, freaking trounce the Chiefs like other people think they will. It's just, they're just going to win by, like, a touchdown, that's it. And then everyone's going to shit their pants about Tony Romo.
Yep.
Even though, I bet his score will be, like, 200 yards.
Yeah. Vardy?
Well, Rocktam mentioned that the Cowboys have really improved their turnovers, but their interceptions. But the Kansas City, the Chiefs aren't really
turnovers in general. Not
the Chiefs aren't really slouches in that department either. They've got really close. The skills of the teams are really close, but I think the Chiefs will get it because at the very least the Chiefs are a more balanced team, as opposed to the the one trick pony of Tony Romo on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Tony Romo and his Cowboys.
Tony Romo and the Cowboys.
I've been back and forth on this one a lot. I have been back and forth on this one so many times. And in fact, I hold the right to change it until game day as well, actually, because I could change my mind again. Part of me wants to pick the Cowboys because I know the Chiefs, as good as their new quarterback is, their team. Part of me wants to pick the Chiefs because the Cowboys suck. This really could. This could go either way.
If Tony Romo didn't shit the bed as much as he usually does, this wouldn't really be much of a contest.
A lot of interceptions.
Yeah. This is gonna be an interception war.
If Tony Romo wasn't Mr. Interception, I wouldn't even need to think twice about this game. I'm giving it to the Chiefs, and I hold my right to change my pick. We go on to the San Diego. Huh?
No one would judge you.
No one would judge me if I changed my pick. Fair enough. We go on to the San Diego Not So Superchargers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles.
I
got the Eagles. I'm not even going to bullshit around. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I got the Eagles.
The only hope that Chargers, I don't think the Chargers, regardless of how, regardless of the fact that they did better than I expected them to do, this is the Eagle. They're going against Eagles who have a fairly good defense, and I think that honestly was one of those aberrations. I think Philip Rivers is going to get some interception. Is going to throw some interceptions, and the Eagles are going to are going to get the win because Philip Rivers has turned into one of those guys that tends to throw more interceptions than he does than he should.
The options. Yeah, Eagles.
The only, I think that the Chargers really would. The Chargers would only have a chance if they get the rated R superstar to somehow his spine heals and he decides to spear the entire Eagles team out of it.
Everyone's got the Eagles, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We move on to the Detroit Lions going against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, guys, I say the Arizona Cardinals are going to win, and I'll tell you how. The Arizona Cardinals are going to build a Stargate that leads them to an alternate reality. And in that alternate reality, they've got Tom Brady as their quarterback, and they've got and they've got legendary running back Barry Sanders. And what they're going to do is they're going to use this Stargate and their alternate reality to their advantage and beat the Lions. But in all reality, the Detroit Lions are going to win.
I was going to say I thought the Lions were going to win for no fucking reason. They're just going to win. Like just.
If I wanted to be mean to the Cardinals, and I'm not a mean guy, but if I wanted to be mean to them, I could say that the Cardinals could lose this game all on their own. The Lions would just stand right there, right in the middle of the field, and the ball would actually resist the Cardinals and goes in the opposite direction.
Like the guy would throw an accurate pass, and right before it hits the wide receiver's hands, it just kind of flies left for some reason. Like
so the Lions would just start playing a game of poker as the Cardinals just beat themselves.
No. They just play Go Fish. That's a much better game.
You watch now. My Stargate theory is going to come to life. We're just going to see Tom Brady randomly appear in an Arizona Cardinals.
Tom Brady! What the
fuck? And like Barry Sanders is going to look young again and suddenly be in an Arizona like fucking.
I'm expecting parts of team members of the Lion to just defect and go to the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals may have a sporting chance.
I just say Lions so they get their hopes up and then like lose 3 games in a row after that.
Yeah, I say Lions. Can I assume you're with the Lions?
Yeah, even though I don't think their defense is exactly that great. I mean, you have Matthew Stafford, who is a fairly good quarterback, and you've got a great combination in him throwing to Megatron.
Yeah,
that's his nickname, dude, Megatron.
Yeah, I know, but it just fits so well with everybody else's theories.
The Cardinals really don't have any real defense to speak of, as far as I know. Yeah, I don't. The only chance that Cardinals have, by the way, I just found out when I watched the Lions Vikings game yesterday. Ndamukong Suh is the captain of the defensive line, or he's some sort of captain on the Lions defense.
Doesn't surprise me.
What the fuck?
He's like their key defensive player, dude. That didn't surprise me.
He's a fucking thug. He shouldn't be the captain of anything.
Well, it fits that he's in. It fits he's in Detroit then. Oh.
Guys, and I'm not saying that because he's black, because it's not that at all. He consistently gets like dumb personal fouls and gets fined. The guy, if he wasn't playing football, would be in jail.
He's the living, breathing, walking.
I could totally see this guy, if he wasn't in football, getting busted for drunk driving and domestic abuse.
He's the living, breathing, walking image of every citizen in Detroit.
He's
the best role model for the Detroitians.
Yeah.
Seriously, if in order for the Cardinals to win this game, Ndamukong Suh would actually have to commit murder live on the field.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
and the Lions have to forfeit the game as a result.
I don't think he'd have to worry about it, though. He could just turn to Ray Lewis for tips of how to get out of that.
Oh! But you have to realize, Rock-10, being that much of a thug, that makes him the perfect defensive player.
But I'm saying, but I'm sorry. Ray Lewis, Lewis could give him all the tips in the world. If he committed the murder live in front of a live audience, the game's over. The Lions lose.
Or maybe he could ask Michael Vick for some advice about how to kill dogs.
Jesus.
He's
or
not
maybe,
really...
he can go to Big Ben and be like, hey, I got some college girls I'm interested in. Could you give us some tips?
Go to dark territory.
O.J. Simpson joke.
Dark territory there, Riddler.
Yeah, well, we're only missing some racism for the trifecta here.
I got nothing for that one.
You could get tips from, I forget who his name is, the one guy that shot himself in the foot with his own gun.
Oh, Plaxico Burress.
Let's keep going.
Plaxico Burress. We go now to the New Orleans Saints, who's going to have Angels in that end zone against Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I honestly don't think they need Angels for this one because that game against the Buccaneers had no business winning. The Buccaneers lost against the fucking Jets, who had no business. If you can't win against the Jets, you're not going to win against the Saints. Drew Brees is going to have another
field day.
Is going to have another field day, probably over 300, possibly even 400 yards.
I tell you what will make my days if just
the Saints win.
What will make my day is just if out of the blue one day, like
who that says they're gonna beat them Saints? Yeah.
What would make my day is if to like hype up the Saints game, they show like Christopher Lloyd in the crowd. I'd just be like, oh my god!
I didn't believe Riddler. I didn't believe Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But last week I was wrong. There are angels in that outfield.
There are angels in that outfield.
I'm going for the Saints.
Believe in the angels.
Angels, baby.
What about you, Vardy?
Like I said, angels.
Favorite Saints. Okay, we all got the Saints. The Denver Broncos travel to the New York Giants. Manning versus Manning. It's the Manning Bowl.
Manning fight.
And I think Peyton's going to put Eli in his place.
Yep.
Is Peyton in the Broncos?
The Giants just came from a game. Just came away from a game where they committed 6 turnovers, 3 of them from Eli.
The difference between Peyton and Eli's team is Peyton has competent teammates and Eli's just by himself.
Eli's like the smart guy.
No, I don't. I would no. I mean, Eli does have good teammates.
Competent.
Eli does have some good teammates. I mean, he
said competent. Eli's teammates are also dumbasses. You can have...
Rock-10, Eli has a good...
Hakeem Nicks.
He has a good...
Eli has a good teammate. One good teammate.
Two.
Yeah, that would be pushing it.
Oh, Hakeem Nicks.
Yeah,
that would be pushing it. Compared to what the Broncos have, that's not really that impressive.
The problem here is that even with Victor Cruz and Hakeem Nicks. That's 3 guys. Broncos gonna come out as a fucking team and be like, let's defeat these motherfuckers.
3 dudes.
Giant slaying, motherfuckers.
Yeah, Giants committed 6 turnovers. Peyton just came off one of the best games of his career.
Dude, fucking Peyton killed it last game. I think he's on a roll. He's gonna keep going.
Yeah,
and the Giants weren't doing very well. If I were, the Giants did not do well at all against Dallas.
Peyton was
against
fucking touchdowns.
Against a guy that's supposed to be Mr. Interception, Tony Romo, and you're going against Peyton Manning, who I would love to pull up his stats from last year, but I don't think he got intercepted that much last year.
Last game, Peyton was all the touchdowns. So,
yeah.
I guess,
yeah. We've all got the Broncos, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
we move on.
Game.
We move on to what is going to be an absolute slaughter, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Oakland Raiders. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who I remind you, only managed to get 2 points this week.
2 fucking points. How do you do that? You had to be at least in field goal range once so you could kick it. You could try.
I've got the Raiders. I'm sorry.
The Jaguars. The Jaguars is apparently a team who can't even move the ball into field goal range.
I'm sorry, right? If the Jaguars win this, it's a crime against common sense and logic.
We know. My bet. If I get the lowest score on the pick'em, I cheer for the Jaguars next season.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm sorry, right? If the Jaguars win this, it's a crime against common sense and logic as we know it. Okay?
Even if the Raiders suck.
Even if the Raiders suck. The Raiders suck, but the Jaguars suck more. I've got the Raiders.
The Jaguars are the black hole of the season.
Within 3 points of the Colts.
You couldn't even get 3 points. You got 2.
The Jaguars are the black hole of the season of this.
2 points. You tackled someone in a really lucky position. Good for you.
They're a singularity of suck.
Yeah, that's how they got there. That's a good point, actually. You tackled someone in a really good position. You got 2 points. That's all you could do for an entire game.
You couldn't kick a ball across 2 fucking fence posts.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention this. Ndamukong Suh was at it again. He made an illegal shot block against a Viking player. They're already expecting him to get fined.
Hey, do what you got to do to survive in Detroit.
And something I didn't mention about the Giants game, it started out with Eli throwing an interception.
Is it just me, or is there less people playing this week?
Yeah, it felt like that way to me.
I don't know.
There might be a team on a bye week. I don't know.
I doubt it on week 2. I don't know.
I think you think that just because I think it's more that this week has more Sunday games.
Yeah, this week does have more Sunday games. San Francisco.
Because we had two games of Monday Night Football this last week.
Yeah. San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are going to get crushed.
Seahawks seem to be okay, but they still have so many people on their injured roster. And also, 49ers are doing insanely well right now.
Yep.
Seahawks, even with their defense, managed to only beat the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers by 5 points. They only scored 12.
I think that they still have no fucking offense, so they won't be able to score on 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers are gonna have the 49ers are gonna pretty easily win this game. I think if the CX can only score 12 points.
12 points against the
I mean, I don't expect. I'm not sure if that's going to be that bad. It could be. It could be worse. Who knows? But yeah, I don't. You're not going to win if you're that low scoring against the 49ers.
Exactly. We all got farted.
Some of these, like a lot of the matchups these weeks are really one-sided.
They're not that good. They're really one-sided. Yeah. Like this one, for example. I originally picked the Steelers. I changed my mind instantly after that fucking game this week. Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I've got the Bengals. I have no reason to pick the Steelers.
Nope. Yeah. I mean, you have Andy Dalton, who is a bit underrated, and AJ Green, who is like really emerging as a great receiver. The Steelers looked completely lost. Got sacked. They apparently have their offensive line is apparently nowhere to be found. The Bengals will win this.
You know, if a moment of desperation does actually happen to the Bengals, they can just get their cheerleading squad to surround Ben Roethlisberger, and they can just steal a touchdown.
He just chooses to play with the cheerleaders.
Just make one of the cheerleaders flash him, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
He'll be like Val Venus trying to play strip poker over there.
Yeah.
All I have is my robe, and I'll never lose it.
God. Yeah.
Well, that's about it.
That's about it. That's all the games. That was the games this week.
Bengals.
Bengals. Well, yeah, we all picked Bengals. We predicted the games for next week. We'll be back next Tuesday, I imagine, after the Monday Night Football games to predict more games. This was Stroke American Football, and I'm Riddler saying, you know what, Ndamukong Suh, with all the tips he could get, you know, he could be the greatest murderer / dog killer / rapist that we've ever seen.
He could be the new kingpin of crime.
Yeah, he could be the new kingpin of crime in the NFL. Just think about it. He could be the murderer. He could get.
He'd make so many famous NFL players proud.
Yeah, he would.
Jay proud.
Ray Lewis would shed a tear at the amazement of the murder that Ndamukong Suh had committed. Ben Roethlisberger would give him a high five of the molestation of a high school girl in a bathroom. And then Michael Vick will, you know, just wink at him after he beats down a pack of dogs to death. That's the NFL for you, folks. A bunch of dog killers, rapists, and murderers. Good night.
Seriously, the NFL is nothing but death row sentence.
That and combining two really weird names together to make names.
See, this is like some sort of dystopian future where we get our convicts to play games for our pleasure. This is where it is now.
This is right saying, considering the number of close games this week, I expect last week. I expect the exact opposite this next week. That's the NFL
It's
for you.
going to be an entire week.
It'll average out.
It'll probably be a lot of blowout games the next week.
Allie, you have any final parting words before we end?
Football.
Football.
Football! Goodbye.
Football.